Welcome in, everybody. We are here with Luna League. I am Thousand Eyes. That is Oshi. How have you been? Because I have not actually gotten to work with you in a while. Also, my Twitter tag needs the cast part. That is something that I do. Uh,
I don't only
but yeah,
only, like, specifically.
purely, yeah. Like it's just. But how have you been, Oshi?
I've been amazing. I took a couple months and kinda toured away from Apex for a little bit, dipped my toes in some other games, which has been fantastic, getting, on the mic for some 2xKO and things like that out there, but, returning to comfort, returning to home, which is the Apex Legends is, I'm looking forward to it, and, I mean, coming back to you is about as special as it gets.
Absolutely. I am really excited for today. We have Luna League. We have a lot of our top women's comp teams playing, and we have hopefully a banger series of games for us today. I know that we did have the draft just recently, so we will have an idea here of where teams are going to be landing, and we can honestly, I just want to like get an idea of where things are going to go because obviously, like I'm looking at it right now. We have Solus on West Skyhook, which is an extremely good drop for World's Edge. Like we have Capybaras playing down in Siphon. We have a lot of teams just in that area, as we always kind of do, and we'll probably see a lot of action. Is there any place specifically you're looking at here, Oshi?
Yeah, it's always kind of a coin toss, right? Because where's the zone going to pull, and how much do you want to rotate is what it comes through, right? A lot of these teams obviously are going to have a specific play style that they want to pull towards, right? Be it the edge play or be it more of the center circle kind of play, and that's where I think the differentiation between which POIs for landing are stronger compared to others. Also, part of why I love the draft because you have those teams, obviously something like Boo, who have selected landslide right in the middle of the map, their fifth pick. They
Hmm.
know, you know what, we want to be in zone almost guaranteed. Yeah, there's still a little bit on that west side, but they have that significantly stronger opportunity to be in the middle of the zone and to play for those early kills rather than teams like Solus, like you mentioned, landing in that west skyhook, the classic TSM POI to go for,
Hmm.
and kind of having that we're going to move in and get the kills that way instead of well I mean I say that, but how many times have we seen West Skyhook be that? And so
Yeah. It's kind of like you're hoping to just grab and go, but then you might just wrap back around, just go on a big little loop to come back around. Looking at Storm Point here, we see that we have Addicted over at Cedo Station, which has always been a very strong starting point for a lot of teams. Bean is uninhabited, which means usually you'd get Cedo Station or Cenote or even Mills getting active early on. There's now that little dead zone that teams might fight over, might leave alone, and it might just kind of shift up the tempo of the game.
yeah, in that same kind of thing, you've got cliff sides on the clear there, so Lightning Rod and
Hmm.
Stormcatcher aren't necessarily forced to fight one another, so that's good news for Meowth and Capybaras. By the way, one of the best Pokemon and the best mammal in existence. So phenomenal team names by you two right there. I just got to call out the little things here. The big spot that I'm looking for, if we do kind of get that pull into central area, Ferrari is also neutral on this one right now. So just south of Wall, just north of Cascades, that little building that's right there is generally just an absolute death pit. And especially if we get that central pull with nobody being at Ferrari, there's going to be a significantly, I would say, longer fight there than what we're used to.
Oshi, last time I was casting with Dia, and he just kept making Meowth jokes, and I need you to promise me you're not going to be doing that.
I have a child. I am a father. I will do my best. I literally have a Gengar Evo line tattoo.
Okay,
Okay, like
yeah, but
what do you
that's
want?
like Gengar. It's like they go out and he's just like, and Meowth go out. That's right. Like I just want to
Oh
like
no,
scream.
no.
Like
I may say
it
they
was
blast
cheesy.
off, but that's only if
No,
it's like
okay,
full
yeah, I
grenade
did do that
elimination.
one. I'm guilty of that one, but that one was funny. It's funny when I do it. But E
Ah, double
District,
standard.
E District. As we take a look at our final map there, I honestly still am trying to get a feel for where E District kind of like moves and flows Because obviously, like you have the big area of eBank in the middle that doesn't have the greatest loop, but has a lot of space to play with and is central to the map. And then you have a lot of those outer areas that you can really get stuck in. What teams catch your eye there?
You know what? All three maps, because obviously we're going to talk about Solus a whole lot. They're top
Of
of the
course.
leaderboard, and like on the regular here, but they play that edge. Every single one of their POIs that they have drafted here has been an edge POI. But this one in particular, I think, is very interesting because it gives them two very simple pushes into, or sorry, three very simple pushes into other teams that are quite likely to be straight up 3v3s with very little opportunity of that third party coming in that everybody hates. They can just go north into Resort and fight Octomoms, or they can go due east into City Hall and fight Boo relatively easily. If they want some other chaos, they go south as well, fight Katana, but Illusion's going to be very close by, landing in Neon Square as well. So things that I anticipate out of them is looking for those early 3v3s because one, they're not afraid to take the fights. Two, they absolutely love the KP. And three, we're going to be watching a lot of them anyway. So why not kind of call out what we expect them to do so that when they don't, we can harp on ourselves later.
Yeah, and I also know they are officially Maple has officially left that team. She is looking for a team currently, so this is going to be a slightly different Solus than we usually see, or at least have seen in the past couple of months. So I know that they have also had some points where they have struggled when Maple has not been in the roster. So I'm actually really curious how things are going to go with another third person in that slot, and if they can keep their momentum going or if they slow down like we've seen some other times.
Yeah, they're very well known for their consistency and their comfort playing together. So Maple leaving that roster, it's a wrench in the gears, right? It's no different than any team when you kind of have that change up, right? You have your three standard roles, and now that one person that you've grown so comfortable with, literally over the years, is now missing. And you have to, that other person is coming in, kind of feeling like a third wheel. They have to make the adaptation. So we've been seeing some phenomenal things out of Capybaras recently. Is that going to be the person that we or the team that we actually need to be focused on while we sit
Mm,
here and talk about Solus, who were, historically the number one?
exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure that we are going to see those teams clash a few times today and get a little bit of action between them. I also now just kind of want to like get a just overall feel because like we've talked about drops, we've talked a little bit about some of the teams just that we have seen generally at the top here, like Solus, like Capybaras. I know Addicted and Lust are still teams that we have eyes on. Is there any teams that are, a little bit lesser known that you've looked at?
Oh, you're asking the hard questions here. The lesser
A
knowns
little
that we're
bit.
going to look at. Why would you do
You
this
can
to me?
say no. You can say no.
It's hard. So I was, I'm
I
laughing
know
at myself
because
now.
I know
I was no. So
that's a rough question to ask as someone who has not been around as much lately.
And this is something that you actually gave me the perfect opportunity to bring something up. I was talking to Yusaki about this earlier before we started everything here, and I was saying one of my favorite things about the women's comp scene is that it isn't a they play for one season and then retire. Right? These players are so consistent, so competitive, and so resilient that they have been playing for year on year. So yes, you're correct. I have not been active as an individual on cast for the women's scene, and unfortunately, my life does not allow me to watch a whole lot of Apex most days. However, there's so many names I still recognize that are still playing just with different teams that
Yeah.
am I excited about a specific team? Maybe not necessarily, but there are individuals that I'm looking to.
Yeah, definitely. I know one of the teams that I'm kind of keeping my eye on is Order, just because I know some of those players personally, and I also know specifically one of the newer players they have in Saja is a very strong individual player. Does not have as much comp experience, but I think mechanically can keep up with some of the stronger players that we have in women's comp. So I do want to see how Order play, especially if they're able to get into stronger situations later in the games.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting just to see how everybody kind of pulls through as the games kind of develop. Map on map is
Hmm.
my favorite thing, right? Seeing how teams adjust map over map.
Map over map adjust as we go further into the series and where teams are placed, how much more aggressive they want to play, if they need to shift around or just play a little bit safer. There's a lot of different variables to play with as we load into our first game here on World's Edge. Dropships are going out.
Hopping in bright and early into the map here. Naturally, we know where everybody's going. This used to be that moment where you'd, talk up, "Oh, are we gonna have any contests or everything?" And, the dropship changes, I love it because it adds to that competitiveness, right? However, it leaves you in that situation of, "Oh, what do we do right now? Everybody's landing where they're landing." But the overview here, you can see Meowth spreading out a whole lot across Meltdown, just to
Mhm.
that northwest side, and Coven spreading out even further, really getting up north there as Solus, give themselves the trials option. And I believe we just heard
Yeah.
that we're restarting.
Yeah, we are gonna get a quick restart here, so unfortunately, this match will not count. However, we do obviously see what teams. One of the things that I do try and see is how do teams adjust to how the draft has played. Like what teams they know are landing near them, what places they know are open. Do they actually move in and say, hey, we are dropping here, but this spot next to us is also open. We're just going to go and grab that. Do they kind of not really pay attention to that? Sometimes we see teams get themselves in bad situations because they don't realize, hey, I'm actually right by a really strong team and we might not want to just run into them. Um, Lots of kinds of variables on that front that I do want to see how teams kind of adjust because those small adjustments can be really really big.
Yeah, it's even just so far as, are we going to completely start trials alone and do it as an individual versus are we going to land there and make sure that, East Skyhook or Fissure haven't tried to poke their way in and, fight it together, leave yourself open for those 3v3s. Do we try and land to the further south or north to a specific POI to do exactly like you had said, just kind of grabbing these individual portions of just nibbling away at your opponents rather than playing the same game by the book over and over and over, and the definition of insanity.
As we load in for our first game, not obviously teams are just going to spread out pretty similarly, I would expect. We did get a southern zone, is what we got hinted at before. Obviously, things will shift just a little bit here. I'm honestly hoping we get skyhook zones because I think skyhook zones are my favorite on World's Edge just because all of the buildings mean you get a lot of teams in the late
Yeah.
game.
You know what? I hate to say it, and I know if any of my friends ever see this, they will roast me because I talk trash about it all the time. But from a viewer's standpoint, it is so much fun, and that's part of why I love
Mhm.
E-District so much, is because it's just a whole map of Skyhook.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's why I like E District too. It's very fun to watch. I imagine it's extremely stressful from a competitive standpoint, but I'm not playing competitive. So I
Yeah.
don't really care. That's not on me to handle as we one of the things we didn't get to talk too much about was just our our compositions that we're seeing here. We're seeing a good amount of caustic. Not everybody running caustic. We do see some Mad Maggie as well being pulled out.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody should be playing those two at this point in time.
Yeah,
It's really silly to feel, like, feels really silly to say, because the last season that I did commentary for, you would never have seen them whatsoever. But two of my favorite legends, personally, love to play them, love to have them on my team because they require just a little bit of different thought process in the game overall, and they're incredibly strong right now. Right? Area control, area denial, best things about the game to have on your team at this point in time, which is why you have guns like the R99 for that close range opportunities when things do get too close are so strong when used in tandem with the 30-30 and the charge rifle.
definitely. There's a lot of long range guns that people want to run right now. I want to see charge rifle. Again, guilty pleasure. Everybody hates me for this. Nobody that I talk to, unless they are also charge rifle fanatics, likes that I like the charge rifle. They are all generally upset with me and dislike me as a person because I like the charge rifle. But I do not care. I will stand by that gun until it is removed from the game.
Of all of the reasons to dislike you as a person, Tessa, that's the one they choose.
Okay, what do we mean by that? Hold on. We might need to break this
just,
one down.
I'm just being rude. Just being
I
rude,
can
Tessa.
tell.
No, but you know what? I'm exactly the same way. And for the long time, People were like that with the Spitfire with me as well. They hated the fact that I would use the Spitfire so much. I absolutely loved it. Mind you, this was back when it was a heavy weapon and the bullets would literally slow you if they hit you. So it was a different time. And I now understand and agree with the hatred. I deserved it. But, at least the charge rifle takes some form of skill in comparison.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't like the phrasing of some form of skill. That feels a little
The
disingenuous, but
implication was that there was absolutely no form of skill involved in a Spitfire. That's what I was going
I
for. This one was not about
yeah.
you.
No, I understand. It's just like we got to work on our phrasing here, Ashi. Like we speak for a living. We gotta lock that one in, buddy. But we are gonna take a look at our ring. It is gonna be going towards the staging harvester area. I expect this one to be going on that hill in between harvester and staging. That's where this likes to go a lot of times, and it is kind of a mess if you do not get into harvester early.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute slugfest just in those tiny hallways that you see on the east side, on that north side. Those ones in particular, that whole side of the map basically is going to either be pushing through one of those or the wide open field that's to the south. Going to be dangerous. But again, this is kind of where that caustic comes in and where that Mad Maggie come in as well. They create both
Mm.
offensive and defensive opportunities. Obviously, caustic is incredible for locking down these hallways and these narrow passageways, and the Mad Maggie Q for doing the same in terms of poking people out of behind cover and opportunities like that. However, it's the Mad Maggie Ball and the Caustic Ultimate that are the things that can provide the offensive opportunities as well. Clearing out a zone by throwing that Caustic gas so far forward, or having a
Ooh.
massive, okay, that is massive opportunity with the Sentinel there, let alone what I was going to say, massive ball rolling forward to even speakers.
Instep has been running the Sentinel just at all times, has been super, super hot on the Sentinel. And you can see why. It's hitting pretty well here as we are going to see Clean start to make the offensive here. Nice shots with the scout from Robin as they are going to move forward and try and capitalize on this. And they will take a little bit of time. They might have a res to deal with, and these caustic barrels are causing a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, 240 hit points on a caustic barrel is a lot to try and shoot through. They do manage to clean the fight up. That is Eclipse eliminated, one of the teams that we probably would have been looking to a little bit for some action early on, which we see here, but generally anticipate them on the other side of it.
Yeah, a rough start to the day. Speaking of, we are going to see, I don't know, inside of the truck here, dealing with the stinger. Or actually, that was their own stinger. I am a goofball. Fishy throwing that one down. Moonfire, the ones looking at them from up above. Moonfire with the high ground and the 30-30 in hand. You can see they are going to be trying to hold on to this area, I think, for a bit here and gatekeep some teams moving in.
Yeah, this high ground provides a very strong opportunity when you're playing a team that has that legend like the Wraith. As we hop back over to Clean here with more G7 shots coming down, utilizing the smoke of the Bangalore to get away there. A tactical ability that nobody needs to describe at this point in time. I don't think it's even worth speaking on beyond its smoke.
Take a look right now as Capybara is trying to push in onto a Newcastle, throwing out the nades, getting the Mad Maggie Ball to the face. As Capybaras are actually going to dip back. They do not want to deal with this. Techni not feeling strong enough. Izzy also backing behind cover and will regroup with the team.
Cheeky use of the altar cues there to get up and down on the height without exposing yourself. I love little things like that, and that's just the experience of these players and in these locations. They know this is our POI, this is the kind of fight that we're going to have, this is the place that it's going to be. Unfortunately, unaware of the angle right there, but I mean, not able to get the full damage down with that Volt that one time around, because that was a devastatingly missed opportunity for a knock. Would have definitely turned this fight on its head just a little bit. Clean, though, doing a phenomenal job holding this high ground, and they can keep this split after this ring closes as well, which gives them the kind of decision. Do we go one way? Do we go the other based on the zone pull? Because we may know where it's going, but they don't.
Yeah, Clean in a really solid spot here. They're very good on shields. Having purple shields this early on is a massive boon. Moonfire looking around down below. They know there is a team by them, and they see that Wraith portal go off, but they are not going to go for the chase here. They are recognizing this ring is coming in their direction. There's likely more teams coming around. Speaking of, Solus here, going to be moving in with the crypto drone to get a little bit of extra information. They need to make their way into this next ring.
Yeah, the absolute classic of Crest on the crypto. There's nothing that screams Solus more than seeing that drone just collect information constantly and then watching the duo act on it at all given times. This is Nikki on the Mad Maggie, by the way, and Kyrie FPS, as you can see on that. Wraith, no, we're not going to say Nikki's actual name.
I swear, I have to have this conversation with players sometimes. What crazy nades, by the way. Oh my good golly gosh. Solus are just opening fire. It is easy for them. Coven get eliminated, and Kree is your kill leader with all 3 kills going to her.
Solus operating the witch trials right there, the way they put fire in that room. Holy. Just took him to Salem.
Dude, it's like, I gotta remember that, like, sometimes I cast with people that just throw out the cheesiest one-liners. And, like,
Hey, that was
prepare
2.
myself for that. That was 2. Yeah, no, I mean, like, it was 2 one-liners. But I'm just, it catches me off guard sometimes. Clean up in the northern side now, or sorry, moving it out into Lava Siphon. They have been really active in this game, and we see Lena has gotten into the kill leader territory, has 4 kills. Clean are racking up KP for themselves right now. They're going to be very strong as we start to move further and further into the zone.
It's going to be a frightening squad to get into kind of into a duel with right there. I've got something stuck in my throat. Apologies. As we do see Capybara is looking for that res. They're just up on the bridge, actually, right behind here as we move over to Skoden from Native Gaming. Also, one of my favorite teams to watch. Bless Ren. She's an absolute gem of a human being. So, interesting to see as this res goes off. It looks like Skoden is not going to turn around and try and challenge this resurrection that's coming up on the bridge, which is generally something that you would see as Ren very slowly makes their way up to the top here, just kind of, scouting everything out, no pun intended, to see where everybody is and make sure that they're safe.
I don't believe you, no pun intended. I don't believe you.
I didn't even look at their guns until after I said it.
Skoden, feeling a little bit of pain there as Addicted are the ones putting the shots down. Addicted will back off, though. They don't want to get too active this deep into where the ring is going to pull with this many squads up. You're risking a lot of possible third parties, and you don't want to get too active this early. You want to wait for more teams to move in, gatekeep as much as you can, but it is not worth it to take a 3v3 right now.
No, and there is, just taking a look at the mini-map that we have available to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual teams at Harvester already, and that's at the buildings at this point in time. Lust is not one of them. They are still trying to fight their way into this train tunnel here with a lot of good shots back and forth. Incredible little tap strafe to get out of that alive, Renee. You got to be careful.
Maddie is also in trouble too, as Scar's gonna peek around the side to get some more damage down, hitting pretty hard. 36 on the flesh, hits 43 on the shield of another player, and Lust still able to hold off here, but I don't think they want to try and push into this tunnel here. They just want to hold off as long as possible. But round 3 gonna move them a lot further south, and they cannot stay here forever.
No, it was definitely a situation of let's wait and see where zone goes, but we know we have the upper hand. Try to pick up those kills. I gotta say, Scar, phenomenal anchor job right there. Both of their teammates were having a difficult time and just absolutely held it down. Lum hitting some big shots and falling back to decide to heal up as well. We see kills going down in the feed. Moonfire eliminated right there. That is going to be Solus picking up some kills in the feed off the screen. So phenomenal job to them. But Kyrie is down, and they do have opponents close by. Wraith doing what Wraith does, or I guess, typically what you would see Alter do these days, and just getting that portal back.
Yeah, Solus has been one of the few teams that has been running the Wraith even when Alter was stronger, even before the nerfs. They have felt strong about the Wraith, and they have been continuing to run it, so they are A-okay with this. Skoden trading 1-for-1 here with the shotgun. Ren, but Incep takes out Exodia at the same time, and now it is a 2v2. Ren jumping around, gonna get in with the PK behind them. They're not ready for it. It's a lot of damage done, but no knocks, and unfortunately, that's a real big problem. Can the cleanup crew of Misadil come in and win it? Good Caustic ult gets the pickup, and now they're going for another. Unfortunately, the Newcastle is doing so much, gets the pickup clean, are eliminated, but a third party have come in, and NG Skoden got a little too active for their own good.
And of course, TSM Sab's the one who rolls in. Octomom's coming and cleaning this up. I said there was 5 teams active in this neighborhood, and that was 2-3 minutes ago. More will have moved in as Octomom's learns the hard way. Those shots absolutely shredding. I mean, Solus here, that was a quick swap over to Solus. That was not who I thought we were going to be looking at, as they are in a completely different location from what we were watching a second ago. As this zone continues to close in, Solus going to have to make a big wrap. Octomom's Capybara still both alive over here at Harvester. And Addicted also find themselves in Harvester, near where all the action was, but they have fallen back out. Picked up their kills and went home.
Yeah, Capybaras were the ones getting those kills that we saw before we swapped over as well, so they're the ones putting the pressure on Addicted. Kind of holding up for now. Gonna put a little bit of pressure out with the Hemlock. Good damage. Just farming a little bit extra here. But they are, as you can see, not inside of this next ring, and Capybara's able to take Octomoms out. But now we've got to see if they can reset. It might be the cost of their game, because there is the Mad Maggie drill to force the issue. And Capybaras will be on the run. Katana are looking at them. It is Maple that is looking down from above and will be putting pressure down. Takes out the Altar Portal, and Katana with the high ground for right now, looking to be in a strong position.
This is an absolutely terrifying vantage point for the teams that are still down in Harvester. Maple making the absolute most of it. Sitting over 1,000 damage already, by the way, with no kills on their side, which means they have been nothing but a thorn in the side of everybody they have seen without actually collecting anything for it. Unfortunate for them, but DK is definitely not one of those squads who have been collecting nothing, as they force yet another fight. Pick up a knock over onto Kaz
Nades
from Boo here. Look at the bounce nades as well, the patience. They know that they're down there, but they don't want to overcommit because it's not in the right direction from zone.
They're just putting the pressure down without risking themselves. This is exactly what you want to do with Caustic, but now we see the Altar Portal taken, and we're going to see that team get inside. Addicted down below in the ravine, going to be getting hit by the Stinger. Backs away, and lots of damage put down onto Addicted from Yoimono. It is Nedlock that is hitting hard with the triple take. Gets a knock, but gets knocked herself. And now Yoimono will get their Sparrow picked back up, and good for them. They will be able to keep Nedlock alive.
Already a quick flash over to Capybaras there, who find themselves once again as a solo. We've already seen one full team revive from them. I don't think we're going to be getting one a second time around here. Nice alter Q to get in behind. That is Boo eliminated. Addicted with a cheeky little play through the rock right there, saying we can get to you even though you can't see us. Love little things like that. It's that tactical play. Even items like having that respawn beacon to cover their back as a third party thought they were coming into something here, but Addicted was not fighting at all. They had just cleaned up a solo rat. Instead, take a very, very aggressive alter Q up top, going to crawl back towards their team, as it looks like everybody's just going to kind of let this one settle.
Yeah, just slide back on over. My bad, guys. Capybaras going out in the kill feed now as we're down to 7 squads. Good shots from Belarui, who's going to get a crack, throw out the nades, and Katana putting the pressure down.
Waiting to see how everybody is going to choose to navigate this final section of the zone. This ravine is really proving to be everybody's kind of go-to spot. Surprisingly, we
Ooh.
have not seen a ball roll down here, but a lot of damage done with those Maggie Qs, with those G7s from the distance. But that Stinger going to buy just a slight respite for everybody who's down there. The disengage, the heals come through, and again, nobody in the kill feed for probably a solid minute here at this point. IDK doing a bit of scouting and looking around. They're kind of holding the edge of this west side of the map, as who else would you expect in the middle of it all if not Solus on the high ground of Bridge?
In perfect position. You can see they have the crypto drone out as well, giving them information. They want to get involved, but only from a distance here and not risk themselves. Nobody is going to be able to pressure Solus. They can take all the time in the world for this, and also with that heal over time, as you can see, Kyrie able to really not worry about resources for right now. Just immediately heals back up to full off one shield cell. Zeppa having to get back and see if they can get their third on their feet. And Addicted not going to be able to do the same, as they have already lost Lady Bexy. They might lose more if they're not careful. Stinger Bolt will show that they are in trouble, and Katana seems to be the one putting the pressure out.
Ghana did not have a great spot, but they did manage to pick up some extra KP. 5 kills, by the way, on just one of their players. We hop back over to Solus, who, again, putting loads of pressure down on every single team because they have all of the angles. They can see what people thought was the high ground. That's Katana just eliminated. You saw them sitting behind the respawn beacon there. These G7 shots shredding, not just from Solus, but from absolutely everybody, as they actually opt to move down here. They know that there's a team underneath them. The angle with the triple take. Incredible shots, but no final kills.
Doesn't fully finish anybody,
Sorry,
but we are gonna see Nikki able to stay up and alive, and Solus all the pressure that they need right now. So they're gonna look back down, see that team is down below, throw out the EMP just to put some juicy targets down below. Maybe take advantage of that. Solus are looking to play aggressive here. They want to go for the kidnap. They want to go for the move.
Solus wants to end this now. They know that they have the advantage in terms of players. They know they have the advantage in terms of position. They wanted to get a tactical advantage with that kidnap, but it was an opportunity, unfortunately unable to capitalize because they just couldn't find anyone safely. Guess what? Caustic barrels are the reason. Caustic barrels are the problem. Keeping that Wraith just enough distance, but these Maggie Qs continue. I mean, these grenades continue. The triple take shots continue from both teams. This is the top and bottom, Addicted and Solus, both just opening fire on Yoimono there. Nothing they can do, and believe it or not, there is a fourth team still alive here. Illusion is actually a solo, just ratting it out, and has managed to stay completely
Oh, you had to say something. You had to say something. Ruined the rat experience, and that is Yoimono getting eliminated. We're down to 2 squads, as Solus drop down from their perch to finish it off strong. They knock one, they knock another, they lose Kyrie, but they don't need her. Solus take game number 1.
Solus played that so smoothly all the way through. They played from a distance. They had safe engages. They did an incredible job utilizing the combination of the data collected from the crypto and the Wraith being able to get in and get out with both the Q and the portal. It's classic Apex gameplay at this point. It isn't current meta Apex gameplay. This is 4 or 5 seasons ago, and then you just throw the latest, who is currently Mad Maggie, on as just kind of the cherry on top of the cupcake that's pre-iced and half-eaten because you couldn't wait.
What a metaphor. I've never heard someone be so descriptive about ice cream specifically. But yeah, Solus, I mean, we had the question of like, are they going to show up even if they are running a different roster than what we have seen for the past couple of months? And the answer is obviously, yeah, they are doing absolutely fine so far. A great start to the day. I think more importantly than anything, their positioning very clearly is still there. They know where they need to be, and they know how to make the most of it.
Yeah, and not just that, their team fight capability is phenomenal and is obviously very, very active as they managed to close out game number one with 17 kills, over 25% of the lobby.
That's a lot. That's a lot of the lobby. That's a lot of kills. That's 17 points before you take into account just placement points.
They would still
That is
be in first place if they did not also get the win. They have 17 kills, 17 points. Second place, you can see Addicted, 15 total points in second
wow.
place. So kills alone puts them ahead. We've seen this before in pro play too, though. We
Yeah.
have seen teams do this. Alliance is the most notable one recently, anyways, that where they have just racked up more kills and not been able to close out. So
Mhm.
Solus, yes, they have won game number one, but can they continue it not just across this map, but across the multiple maps as we go? As Addicted and Katana bring up second and third place with a fair amount of points of their own, and certainly not too many, or sorry, not too few kills to shy away from.
I mean, it's also that's over halfway to match point as well, which is crazy. Crazy to
You're not
see.
calling for a
Uh,
3-game end, right?
I'm not calling for it. I'm just saying that it is possible. I'm saying that clearly, like the numbers are mathing that way currently, right? I would never call for a 3K series, but Solus obviously now on top, targets on their back. Teams are going to be paying attention. If they're near Solus, let's not give them points. Maybe that would be a bad thing to do.
Yeah, the difficult thing with that is we said it immediately. They're landing West Skyhook, right? You can't easily push them. You've got ILY and Coven and
Hmm.
Meowth are the three closest teams to them, and they're not that close because West and East Skyhook are huge. There's a massive open area between Countdown Fissure and West Skyhook. So Solus has not just an incredibly strong POI in general, but for their current situation of, like you said, being the threat in the lobby, they're super safe on land.
Yeah, and it's not just that they're also very hard to push, but they're also getting such good loot coming out of SkyWest. They're able to get the one instance of extra Evo points for free utilizing the Bloodhound trials. On top of that, getting crazy good loot from that as well. It's tough. And maybe that's a factor of why Solus have been able to run away with this first game and might look to run away with the with might try and at least run away with the second game. They have so much to work with there. Maybe that doesn't continue on the other maps. Maybe it does, but that's another thing to kind of keep in your mind's eye as we go further into the series.
Yeah, and taking a look at our kills leaderboard here, you can see number one, number two, number four are soulless. And I mean, Kyrie tied with Miss Dopey there as well from Katana. They walked their way through game number one. 6 kills, 6 kills, 5 kills. That is a beautiful balance. That is not a single fragger going hard. That is the entire team
Yep.
contributing all the way through. Things that you love to see, quite frankly, is when a whole team rolls together and plays together that level.
Yeah, it's very clearly across the board. The team is ready and just going to war. They are not afraid to take fights here. Now, as we have seen though in the past, that can bite you. Early fight going wrong, third party coming in, all of a sudden you're in a bad spot where you're just kind of out and not getting a lot of points. So Solus can run that risk, and that obviously will shift things as other teams start to gain more points and catch up in that case. But yeah, it's kind of just like up to other teams at this point to start showing up.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, quick
And I'm
shout
saying
out
that at
right
game
here.
two.
It came to that's true. It's not like we're in game seven. It's game two. Who knows? I just wanted to point out Maple, 2,200 damage, sitting in third place, did manage to pick up 1 kill, despite that vantage point that we saw them with early on. Or sorry, not early on, but in the mid game there. I mean, they did everything that they could in terms of picking up all of that damage. She should be proud of herself without question. Um, and then again, you're looking at number one, number two, both from Team Solus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, lots of reasons for that. But, you know, I now want to see how things adjust, because we had that harvester ring. Things will move to a different ring, and obviously we're on a whole different map, even
Yeah.
with E District, but like Solus doing a similar thing here. They're just dropping on the edge over at Boardwalk, looking to get as much loot as they can and probably fight their way to the top. A little bit harder to do on E District, a lot less open ground.
Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of ways that you can kind of catch people by sitting in a corner and
Mm-hmm.
opportunities like that, right? So, two ways that you catch people rotating. Wide out in the open, they've got nothing that they can do, or they don't have the ability to find you because you are literally just sitting inside a building and they happen to miss you. The advantage for Solus on that one, they run the crypto.
That is true. That is true. Giving them a little bit of anti-jump anti-jump capabilities. They will know if there are squads nearby. Shots from Techni on the Sentinel not going to land, but it is going to now give away Capybara's positioning, as they are going to move up and maybe try to just go for the 3v3 early. That would be very Capybara's like.
You know what? They want to take it, and they've got the crypto up there as well. They have the information, so they knew where the players were. All it takes is one charged sentinel shot. That's an 88, even if it just tickles your toes, and you're pretty fine to push in off of that, because they're gonna have to heal with knowing that they're only at white shields. Izzy taking a bit of damage, dealing a little bit back as well, 43 to the about 60 that she took. So, maybe not gonna walk in the Capybara style of all at once. Looking for a little more tactical play, looking for a poke here, a poke there, a nade, and just trying to find that opening. I stand corrected. They are in on that building. They just
I
found
expect
their
nothing
way
less.
through a little tunnel. Yep.
Capybaras is just an aggressive team. They are going to take the fight, and they are going to look to go aggressive, as we see Izzy not able to get that kill. Techni does get fully finished here in Capybaras. Not on the winning end of this fight so far. They're going to get the banner. Are they going to continue the fight? I don't imagine so, unless they get a really good pick. Izzy, shots with the RE45, still running around, sees the Watson fence, wants nothing to do with it, but now is getting some shield cracks and getting blue shields for herself.
Blue shield upgrade here is going to be a massive opportunity to give a health advantage, but they unfortunately find the player of the opposing
Techni's
team
back.
who also had blue shields. Techwins gets respawned in the middle of the whole fight. It is really the Watson that is going to be the huge difference there, because it just completely blocks off certain floors for access. Izzy completely thirsted out here this time now. I mean, they've got to run, and Coven, I can't blame them if they decide to chase.
Yeah, I'm assuming they do not want to let their prey get away from them. They will continue onwards. They've already gotten 2 KP out of this team already. But they might just play it safe here as well, as Coven are backing up once again just to pick up the loot that was left behind, because neither of those players are going to be able to get their loot back.
Yeah, get that loot, get that information is the other big thing here, because knowing where you're going to be rotating when you are playing a Watson altar. Ooh, Gabby finds Techni. That wasn't even a fight in return. That was just a destruction opportunity. Okay, so they get the third KP here, and
Oh,
wow.
Zeva's just gone.
Wow. I mean, that was the double jump Mastiff kill. As that's quite the thing to catch on stream.
Beautiful work here as Lust looking onwards, just inside of the zone on the eastern side. Lust are going to make their moves just to get a little bit away from here, realizing they are on the low ground. They do not have a building to call their own, and probably do not want to stick around here for too long.
Yeah, the zone is pulling to the southwestern-ish. It's still quite central for the first zone pull, obviously enough. Coven Lust have a long way to find, or a little bit of a way rather, to find their way in. Capybara is still alive as a solo, have quite a long way, and they're going to have to get through Lust and ILY if they don't go all the way around through Heights and towards Galeria.
Capybara's grabbing banners, so they will be able to go for another reset here, but it has been just trying to keep themselves together so far this game. But to their credit, Capybaras have successfully done so.
Yeah, and you know what? We saw them get the respawns in the last game as well. It was, they were put in a similar situation, managed to pull themselves out there. So it's something that you have to be ready to do when you are an aggressive team like them, right? You have to know how to play in a way where if you lose 2 players, you can still keep going because you can't just get fully eliminated. You need that placement points as well as that KP. IDK though, found themselves in just a 2-person push right there, as Fishy had to sort of take the recall very early on in that fight, and they end up losing 2 of the 3 players. Eclipse also finding themselves down to just a solo, trying to get away on this altar here. It's one of the better legends to try and run away as, but certainly not the easiest opportunity to do so when you're definitely getting chased down. Huge PK shots, but not quite big enough, as Boo, who we thought were on the back foot, end up eliminating Eclipse.
It is a strong back foot. You do not want to mess with it, clearly, as Boo will get their respawn in with Kaz. Set themselves back up. Also, Boo gotta change their name. It's
November.
It's November. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We we could go with gobble for like turkeys. Like there's a lot of thematic options here.
Open for target practice.
Thanksgiving's in October.
Right? Yeah. Okay, man. Are we gonna start? Don't start with this. You gosh darn Canadian, you.
Hey.
Lust. Looking to go through into the zone here as Renee. A couple of free shots. They will see a member up above. Get the knock onto Izzy. It is Capybaras once again, but they are fighting back. Maddie has been knocked. Scar running out of shields, but Capybaras do not have enough in the tank. Lust will finally take them out of the game.
I'll take that trade any day. I'll run out of shields, you run out of players to send at me. I mean, that's a phenomenal hold right there. Capybaras, they have not been having a good time in either game, having to respawn multiple times and addicted now on the tail of somebody trying to send them into the Capybara realm at this point. They just say, never mind, we're going to go back and pick some loot up. That looks like Sabs just recalling the hounds in that moment right there, because I'm pretty sure Envy would have just kept going to the ends of the earth to pick that kill up.
Absolutely. Evie would have chased that with impunity. Like just no
That's a
no
greyhound
fear.
off leash. That's a greyhound off leash.
Yeah, exactly. that is a pit bull off leash. It is gonna go crazy. But Evie does get pulled back. Octobombs, as we take a look here, deep inside of the ring, one of our Watson Newcastle teams. Obviously a team that's not going to want to try and move too much. They are set up very nicely and looking for teams to move into their spider nest.
Yeah, so good nades coming out here as well, really forcing Meowth back, just kind of saying, no, please do not come play in our zone. And quite frankly, I can't blame Meowth for just falling back and getting these shields back up. It was not a nice place to be stepping into. They do have the correct side of zone here, though, so it's a very strong, very aggressive holdout push on their part. And it looks like the team that they were fighting is going to be going around to an alternate choke, and they're not giving up. They're going to continue to press the issue here and say, you don't get to come into zone at all. Unfortunately for them, Lust has found their way into a little corner.
Little bit, but they have the opportunity to back up. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a lot of space in this corner. This is a spacious corner. Lust, though, do have the opportunity to back up, but they are gonna have to fight their way forward here, as it was addicted, or sorry, it was. I actually forget who it was. I know it was Sky. It was Meowth that were moving it on them. I completely blanked on that one. Ignore me. Coven, meanwhile, gonna be putting out some warning shots as the team is around the corner from them. Meowth now gonna be moving forward to see what they can get done here.
Fun fact that surprisingly still few players actually know. You can crouch your way through that gap at the top of those boxes. That is not a fully solid wall. You can walk through those. Totally fine. That is a rotational option. So keep that in mind as Meowth is looking to get involved in the teams they know is up here. The fences are a dead giveaway. The gen is an even bigger dead giveaway. You know that there's going to be somebody still standing close by to that. There, the first shot. Isa, she wanted it, and I can't blame her. Isa.
Yeah. Issa. It is Issa. But Meowth not able to capitalize on this. As the Watson fences, you can see, are doing their job. They are keeping Meowth at bay, and they have to clear those fences before they try and make a push.
Yeah, you know what? We never confirmed it, but there is legend bans going on here because there are no caustics.
That's true.
So, caustic
It's
ban
true.
game 1, which is why we have seen the Watson come out. Gives you a very similar opportunity in the defensive realm with dropping those fences down. Slightly more defensive, though, because there is no offensive opportunity for the ultimate to kind of buy you into a space, but significantly stronger defensive opportunity in terms of the anti-grenade and anti-overall projectiles with things like Stinger Bolts.
Lust gonna be pushed away thanks to that Stinger Bolt. They cannot find a way through this. They have to put their own Watson fences down here to avoid getting pushed, and Luster just in an awkward situation. This ring is about to close. They are not inside of it just yet. They need to push this way forward here. They're just going to try and use a Wraith Portal to get it done, but they're going right into the arms of another team. But that's a lot of damage put down thanks to the R9, the Havoc, able to put out damage as well as Renee pushes forward to finish off this kill. Can't get it the altar port away, and Lust now walk right into Sheila as they got into the zone but can't finish the job.
Lust has Order right in front of them, Octomom's right behind them, and even if they manage to continue to push in either one of the directions, there are multiple teams on both sides as well. There is no safe place, but it's actually Coven who is eliminated in the kill feed there. That's going to have actually just been the south end of zone, where Lust is currently trying to push into. Octomoms falls back, so we now just have Lust and Order fighting there, but Solus in a tight spot as Yoimono, Clean, and Solus all three in the same tight little hallway, getting into it, spilling blood, trying to figure out who is going to be the last standing.
Yoimono get eliminated. Boo as well. Solus looking for that respawn. Got to drop down that respawn tower, the respawn beacon rather, and Lust still setting themselves up down below. They're keeping the pressure on Order, but they are not looking to take the fight. Clearly, they want to just set up and look for opportunities for themselves. But into a Newcastle and a Newcastle, that's crazy, man. Just too many walls.
How do you push into this? How do you push
You
into,
don't.
like,
You know,
especially even with the altar, it's one of those like, oh, you broke our walls on the second floor, up to the third floor.
Yep.
More walls. Okay.
They have Newcastle in front of the other one. Like, you just don't get to do anything.
You know what? All we're watching right now is Lust getting the Mongol experience.
It's just, like, this is so difficult to do anything to. Just Rampart Newcastle is really gross. Now, Order do have to make a move here, and their rotational outwards abilities are tough, but Lust are trying to find their way in. They want to take this fight. There's a nice PK shot. Can Lust push in on this? That really is the question. They do get the knock onto Saja. Another PK shot hitting as the altar Q will get them around, but their HP is dwindling. They're looking. They're finally able to finish Order off, but they got to get moving.
Yeah, Order does go down. Lust actually has this whole side to them. Never mind. I was going to call that Solus was their next opportunity to have to fight through, but Solus actually opted to go in third party, a fight happening with Clean. As you can see right here, they're getting in and shots down. This is Clean and Native Gaming Skoden who are going into one another in this location. Lust find themselves in safely, phenomenally after all of that. Clean find themselves down to one player standing. They have some knock shields to play around as well as the wall. They're going to try for that Newcastle res, which it is a purple shield, but the flank comes through. Clean eliminated Solus, pick up the kills on that one, do lose one of their own. Lust find themselves safe with their own build, oh, sorry, not safe, rather, in this coming. What is happening? Half of Lust has pushed forward to get involved in this. One of Lust is staying back on the bridge. ILY has come to get involved in this as well. Solus eliminated. Skoden somehow still alive here. This is absolute chaos for a building that's not even in the ring.
We are fighting to fight. The girlies are fighting right now, and Lust is at the core of it. Skoden trying to reset themselves here as Addicted, wishing they could do the same. Pexi will get fully eliminated as Envy and Sabs, neither of which at full HP, have to dip away.
Addicted finding themselves short one player here and not really anywhere that they can go to do anything about that. So just kind of opting for exactly what you'd expect. Hide behind a box, take a minute, get your bearings. Octomobs now find themselves as a sole player left. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. No Peacekeeper can save you in that situation either. Lust, who we could have sworn a couple minutes ago would have been getting eliminated with the amount of fighting that they were doing, find themselves another kill and in a relatively decent area to try and rotate into the zone from. They are the only team on that side of the map at the moment. Skoden finding themselves down to just one player left. Adil going to have to do absolute work to get out of this situation. They are the altar, so they have some movement options for themselves. Great little bait downwards, a huge spray. They're going to go back up as well here, get the reload off, and it's guys. Oh, I thought they were going to be able to pull it off. Unfortunately, that is ILY picking up all the eliminations there. Addicted also goes down.
A very strong showing there from Adil, but alone cannot do it. And now ILY might be in fighting to avoid the same fate. They are able to do so. Moonfire get taken out by the Hipfire Scout. And I don't know, left with just Squatched, one of the stronger mechanical players, but can't do it alone. They'll be gone as well. Meowth have to reset ASAP.
Meowth and Lust, last two teams alive, complete opposite sides of the zone, and it is closing to basically dead between them. Both teams have lots of loot to be able to pick up. Both teams have the opportunity to make a move. Lust, however, probably has a slight advantage looking at the minimap just in terms of structure. Both teams poking outwards a little bit, trying to assess the situation. Quick shots coming down from Lust to get that preliminary damage as they find their footing.
Good damage here from Lust. They're keeping pressure on. Can't get the scout shots there, but damage is felt. Renee having to back out and heal. We are poking, feeling our way through. Scar has 7 kills, by the way. I just want to point that one out. She might be getting a couple of more as she puts down work with the 30-30. They're going to move in with the PK. Maggie Drill goes out as well, and Lust able to easily finish off game number 2.
That was a fantastic viewpoint of the threat that you know, but not the threat you can deal with. Right, you pointed out 7 kills that she had already picked up, and all they had to do from that point was sit over there, lay down a bit of damage, and trust their teammates, because that is what an anchor in that situation does. They were not the closest to the enemy. They were not going to be running into the enemy. They played that strategic and smart, and quite frankly, absolutely brawled their way into this victory.
That has been both victories so far today. It has been a just very heavy aggression has been rewarded. As long as you can keep it up for the entire game, it has been the play to get yourself going. And we see Solus had a bit of a rough game this time around. They went out in 10th place, so they're not going to get a lot of placement points. They were fighting their way up there, so probably still scored a bit, but obviously Lust going to make up some of that gap.
Yeah, Solus managed to kind of scrounge themselves into a 5th place position, 5 kills, and 10 for their placement points. But Lust, they're not just going to make up the gap. They're actually going to break the points that we saw from the last game, picking up 30 points in game number 2, 18 kills, and a
Wow.
first place. We have seen a 29 and a 30-point game out of 2 different teams. Yes, Solus still sitting in first, but I mean, talk about gap closed. Solus was sitting with a double point lead after game number 1. Now they have Lust very, very firmly on their tail.
That is bonkers to me, as just seeing Solus did, granted, had 5 kills, placed 10th, so 7 points. that is a chunk of points for sure. 31 points now immediately for Lust, as they have just 5 points away now from first place. Where we were kind of seeing like, oh, Solus might start to run away. Lust have answered the call. They have become the gatekeeper here to try and keep Solus in check. And it is going to have to continue here, because I know Solus are not going to be happy enough with a 10th place finish.
No, Solus is definitely going to be walking away from that one with some feedback for themselves, and I'm sure that they will implement it very quickly, as they are incredibly well known to do. The team that I want to look back to is just Capybaras, because we have seen them doing so well as of late within these series, and unfortunately they're finding themselves down in 14th right now. As we hop over, take a look at the player stats: Kyrie, Cress, Scar, and your favorite player, all sitting at the top in terms of kills still so far. But I mean, we have seen a significant change in just what all of the players were doing based on that game, namely because, like you had said, Solus down in 10th. It just allows for a massive shift in both damage, kills, and placement.
Yeah. Now we have 2 bans on the table. Alter, gonna be gone. She got her time on E District. We expected this. Honestly, I'm surprised. Like, generally, it has been that we don't get to E District before Alter gets banned. Luckily, we had E District as our second map today, but obviously, when that happens, we're gonna get her banned pretty quickly. It's gonna be a pretty immediate ban. She's too good on that map. You get one time and you're done. Now, moving on to our third game here. Now, still nobody on match point. Would take another victory likely from either of our top 2 teams to get into that match point threshold. Not out of the realm of possibility, but still, there's a lot of time, it seems, for some of these teams to catch up.
Yeah, we're going to get at least 2 more games. At least, right? Just mathematically, at least 2 more games. We'll
Oh yeah,
probably
no,
get a
we get
few
at
more
least
games.
2 more games for sure.
Yeah, so
But
it's going to be very interesting to see how these other teams kind of adapt, right? Because we've been talking about Solus a lot. Lust obviously had a phenomenal last game. They played out of their minds, grinding their way through all of the teams. And as you said at the very end, that is how both of these games have gone. What team can make that grind? So it really is that inside of you that just kind of stays activated throughout the entire game. Can they continue throughout the entire game? It is the team that manages to hold that from the moment they land until the last death box spawns that is taking victories at this point. So very interested to see, will Solus take a second game? Will Lust take a second game? Will we see the comeback of Capybaras that we had been anticipating based off of the previous uh, bouts? I don't know. Whole different map, whole different game.
as we do move on to Storm Point, now we did see Solus succeed a lot in those areas that were much more open on World's Edge. Will we see them come back? They're starting at Mill. They have Addicted near them. They have Coven near them. And it seems like Coven, they recognize as a team they could maybe do something about, because Solus already kind of peeking up there, getting a little bit of extra info. We are going beyond where some of that loot is and kind of getting an eye on there. As you can see, Solus going to be taking a couple of shots, I'm assuming, at some of the flyers that are around. But like we said before, Bean, open, available for any of these teams in Sonode, Mill, or the Cascade Falls area to move around and get involved in that section. We are going to be moving to the south, though, in order to get our first idea of where the ring is going.
Yeah, pulling down towards that coastal camp Echo, Echo HD area. I really hope this doesn't pull back up to Pylon. I don't enjoy Pylon as much as I enjoy things like Sky West. But coastal camp can be a whole lot of chaos if it does kind of sow down that way. It'll be interesting to see as the teams rotate. Clean, incredibly far distance to go. You see them all the way up there in Zeus Station. Same with Eclipse and Meowth. Very long distance for them to get downwards. Capybaras with a very early rotation out of Stormcatcher, taking that zip very, very far south. Boo should be aware that this is happening. They have the player there, you can see. who's going to be keeping an eye on that, as Cenote, ILY, incredibly spread out, but going to be moving in towards Katana. And Katana are going to have ring info at their disposal as well. So whether or not they're going to choose to take it now or wait until zone close and take the next one will be a choice that they're going to have to make. I would anticipate they take it immediately, and we'll start that push up towards Lust.
Chosen. Got a nice. I say we move there.
Yeah, as we see Addicted going through Jurassic. Jurassic, if these teams are recognizing this ring correctly, Jurassic is going to get active. Because that is going to be the safest rotational opportunity for a lot of these teams in the north and especially the northwestern section of the map. We are going to see Jurassic get active, people going there through Pylon. It is a heavy, heavy choke point, and Addicted might be the first to demonstrate that for us as they have seen Illusion in the distance.
Yeah, there's no altar in the game. As we mentioned, they are banned this time around, so it's not like you can just take yourself straight through the wall anymore. You do have to go through these choke points or have a balloon in hand to fly over top of them. And we know just how dangerous that can be when you've got teams as accurate as these players are. So very interested to see how everybody decides to navigate this. I'm sure someone will completely avoid this spot altogether. They'll go all the way around the outside as well, kind of hit down. Maybe on the east side launch pad, you get the west side by barometer instead of trying to go straight through Jurassic. But anybody like Clean, like Eclipse, like IDK, they're not going to have much choice. They're going to have to come this way sooner or later. Lust, surprisingly the first team to find a whole lot of action here. Great shots coming out of Scar with the G7. Expect absolutely nothing less out of her at this point. Renee getting the upper hand in that fight as well. Also something that we are coming to expect after that game number 2.
Shield crack throwing out the nade, but that was a lot of time with your body out in the open. Renee is going to have to back away. Scar taking the point, but again, lots of damage put down, and Lust now needing to back off as they have to heal back up. Katana, as we take a look here, going to see lots of teams already coming nearby. They're going to peek out below. What crazy shots there from Topi on the scout. Throws out the stinger to flush them out like ants underneath a rock, and they will run off. Katana able to hold ground, get that last kill, and NG Skoden will be our first team eliminated.
I was gonna call Skoden was coming in on this, and then Katana turned it completely around before even I had fully realized what was happening to them. Much more aware than we are with only having the one viewpoint, because they have 3. Illusion in this area now as well. We still find ourselves Lust, Illusion, Katana, and Octomoms all there, and Capybaras over at Echo HQ still might get involved. Lust actually look like they are down a player as well as Illusion decide this is our building, and boy do I hate to be somebody who tries to disagree with them, because this is walled and fenced and gen to the nines.
Moms know what the goal is here. This is a ring that you can predict fairly solidly. So if you got that Watson, you run it. If you got the Catalyst, you get in one of those buildings and you board up as much as you possibly can, because there is so many defensive options for you here if you can get early enough. Eclipse not going to be one of those teams getting there early. In fact, they have a fight on their hands on the northern side of the ring.
Yeah, they're all the way out in, I believe, Cascades possibly, or just north of Cascades rather.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. No, yeah, they are, sorry. Completely turned myself around right there for a quick moment. Getting in the mountain lift area right now as Eclipse down to just the one player, but using that double jump quite thoroughly for a moment. And this is Meowth walking all the way up the hill. I mean, sure, kills are kills.
Meowth will grab their kills, and they are going to move just a little further down as Ring 1 has fully closed. Going to cover their backside as they know there is a team nearby likely, and they will try and figure out a way to move forward. Eclipse on the run as a solo to try and figure out if they can get back up. They're going to scan, see what their options are, and it seems like they will choose Blood. Clean has been pinged on the map, and they might want to get involved on that one.
Sometimes you just have to choose chaos, and quite frankly, they are unquestionably going that way. Meowth has said, "We see you and we want you." And boy, howdy, are they going to take it as we move over to ILY instead. Shots coming down in this choke here as well. Lots of damage being done. That gen is up though, so we do keep hearing shield breaks, but that is not. Okay, goodbye.
Yep.
Lum taking a bullet or two, and that happened to be a bullet or two too many, as Bunny just absolutely demolished them. The walk forward with the Newcastle shield is very safe, does go in their favor as well. ILY, who were looking to be the aggressors here, are on the absolute back foot, and this one is not looking as strong as the last time I said that.
And it is Order who are pushing in strong. They have just one member left to finish off, but they might just take their win and back away. Heal up, make sure that they are strong and ready for another possible team to hear that fighting and get involved. Does not seem like they will have to deal with too much. At the very least, respect. They do not want to overpush themselves right now, especially because they are farther off from the ring than they probably would ideally like to be, especially with a Newcastle on their team.
Newcastle, actually, we have not spoken enough about because we have seen so many fights turn around with the res, especially with the blue and purple knockdown pickups that are coming out. And it has been not just a phenomenal opportunity in terms of dropping the ultimate wall, which, I mean, yeah, we've seen that be very useful and very defensive. But these reses, early in this game number 3, has been responsible for fights ending. Not because people
Yes.
died, but because the initial knock comes through, and then the instant pickup res, you're unable to push it because you can't shoot you just can't shoot the Newcastle while the res is going off. So the fight ends. Octomom's down in the kill feed, and that was one of the people that I was about to talk about. So never mind.
I do think too, especially on Stormpoint, that ultimate becomes even more impactful because of just how open this map can be. Being able to create your own cover is a huge buff for your team. If you can't get in, like we see Order not able to get in on those buildings, they would love to be inside of them. However, with the Newcastle, they can make their own cover to work with.
Exactly. Buildings can be scarce, and again, seeing it pulled down towards this coastal camp area, as you said, making your own cover is important because the natural cover is not that large in this area of the map. There's a couple of hills that you play around, some rocks and trees, but it's not as significant as these G7 shots breaks the Newcastle, but that Q comes down instantly. And I mean, Solus is going to push in for this, but Kyrie, very alone, not unusual for her, but that low health is probably not going to have her feeling that well. But again, has that passive regen armor ability there as... Oh my God, press head.
Might still get it here as we're going to see Nikki fly around, and there's that Newcastle you were talking about. Doing a lot, but not enough. Left with just one member. Order will go down, and Solus will continue their bloodbath.
You know the comms on the other team from the start of that fight was the Newcastle crying that they're low. Like, oh God, I'm low. But then also, Wraith is also low, so they might not push. Solus doesn't know not pushing right now. Eclipse doesn't seem to either. Massive PK shots coming in, lots of damage across to the other side. They're actually opting to play the roof of this, which is quite interesting when you don't have an altar on your side. You're not going to be able to drop right in, but this Newcastle wall has put the opposing team in a tight little corner that Mad Maggie is having a great time with. The Peacekeeper does its work as well. Coven find themselves routed out of their little cave.
Eclipse taking their victory here. Will grab their loot and move forward as the ring is going to continue to go south, and they have to move pretty quickly here. They got to go around that mountain, and that mountain's not going to provide a lot of cover if you run into a team. So they have to keep their eyes open as they move, or they could be in a very unfortunate situation. Illusion now in behind where this ring continues to pull. They are setting themselves up with the Watson fences, but again, this area does not have the most cover, and you can see that starting to cause some problems.
Yeah, even with the Newcastle being able to drop that wall down, you can't destroy it. That's exactly what happened to them, so the knock came through. I would anticipate a res was attempted. They are playing behind that Newcastle wall as it's Boo looking to get aggressive, but went in alone a little too early. Unfortunate situation, but another knock does come through. I mean, Steph doing a lot of work with this RE45, tons of ammo in hand, and those Qs are going to be burning straight through the shield. They get in behind it. The play to dash behind almost works out, but not in the end. Now it is going to be a 1v1 situation. The knock shields are everywhere. Kaz has a single HP, going to be trying to get a man off from behind their teammates. Knockdown shield, gets the single cell off, letting the passive regen go through. Huge PK shot comes out. They are spamming with the hemlock. They pick up the kill, and that is Illusion eliminated from a dangerous spot. And Meowth comes in to ensure that their opponent has absolutely no opportunity to heal up. Poke Center denied. Boo eliminated too.
It was such a clean clutch, too, able to stay alive. But Boo just took a little bit too long on that fight in the third party. Able to walk in, get their KP, and walk out clean now. Running in as a duo, would love to get this res off, but there's going to be a lot of pressure, and you can see that Maggie drill just in your face. Gonna stop any opportunity for a res. As we see Lust getting the revive on Maddie.
Yeah, that was definitely the bigger drill instead of the multiple drills from the Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
Right there, because that took up the entire screen. That was terrifying. Yoimono finding themselves a quick little reset behind the rocks here as well. They're on the low ground, but they do have that gen, and they do know where, sorry, there is a drone out rather watching them as well. They're going to be able to get a little bit of information with the Sparrow, but not a whole lot. Clean finishes off one kill. That's Scar actually completely eliminated right there. So that is going to have to be a resurrection by Lust if they want to get that player back up. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to, though, because Clean is right on top of this box, and they're not going to be giving that up. Lust actually down to a single player in the middle of Clean and Yoimono as Capybaras make their way into zone here as well. Solus on the backside of it. Clean are looking to chase this down, but they're going to find themselves for a little bit more than they wanted to bite off, as they're going to run into the full three of Yoimono, but they should have the high ground here.
Lust have been eliminated now as the Stinger thrown out a little bit too forward on the shield. Just will back up. Clean holding out for now, as I don't know, do get eliminated. Clean losing Incep, looking from above. PK shot hit for 108. They get the knock. Clean as a duo able to clean Yoimono up, and now Clean have the kill leader on their team.
Clean is what that PK shot was. A 108 was an absolute tide turner for them. Gotta love things like that. Addicted finding themselves in a bit of a safe spot, temporarily anyways, inside the zone. They've got those fences down. They do have to get their shields back up, but Sabs on the Wraith I'm not super concerned about, because she can always just queue out as long as she has it up still. Capybara is in a similar situation, actually the exact same situation. They're the team that's on the slight high ground compared to what we were looking at just previously, as some huge damage goes down by Technique.
Capybaras been looking for their winning fights all day. Technique putting a lot of damage down. The PK not going to hit, but they are going to get a full finish down as the nade gets thrown. Thermite not able to actually hit where it needs to, but they do get a knockdown onto one, and Addicted get fully taken out by Capybaras. We're down to 4 squads left.
Technique's movement in that situation, just swapping between the primary and secondary, the Q out, the quick little hops to get the correct angles on everything. Incredible moment for her right there. Showing off just a little bit. I mean, I can't blame you. If you're that good, go ahead and do it. As we hop over to Capybara, as a team that we have been wanting to see more of, and they found themselves in the top 4 this time around. That high ground for whoever that was is not going to be going too well, though, as Capybara is going to roll in. I think that's Solus on the other side.
Might not be Solus for very long, as no, we do see Belleroy goes down, and Katana have been fully eliminated. Katana dulled away here. Solus behind on the back end here will get a full finish, and Meowth go down. Just 2 squads remaining in game number 3.
Twice now, we have come down to a full 3v3 with a decent amount of space between them. And it has been individual teams solely wiping everybody on their side of this second to last zone. In this situation, it was that high ground, and it was this ocean tide area, completely eliminating everybody. And it looks like Capybaras are the team who are going to find themselves with slightly better cover, and very importantly, that Watson jet.
Watson jet is going to be really huge, and Capybaras can kind of just wait for now. Ring will continue to close, but Solus also able to stay inside the ring, so it is just going to be a poke battle and a battle of resources as well. So you need to keep in mind how much are you being forced to use. Drone EMP used by Kree gets a lot of damage in the swing, not going to see anybody. Solus unable to capitalize on this. They will now start to push, and there we see Nikki putting out R9 damage. Solus, though, feeling a little bit more of that pain, as that's maybe not where Kree wanted to go. Has to take the port back over to the team. Lots of damage done, but Solus not able to finish the job.
I respect the opportunity right there. They had a very good pincer push after that ultimate came out of the drone. Capybaras held it out very well, and now they're looking to capitalize on the turnaround. These RE45 shots come out, but it's not quite enough to get the job done. They drop a crypto ult of their own. EMP doesn't do a significant amount in the end right there. Capybaras find themselves with only one left alive. Solus find themselves with two. Clean it up and take game number 3 for themselves.
Beautiful play. Solus, again, just strong. Just on all levels, strong. They had solid macro. They got into the winning position, and they did not give it up, and they had the mechanics to back it up as well. What could have been a very risky fight did not become one, thanks to the proactivity that Solus had.
It was very, very well thought out. They are an incredibly methodical, strategic team, and I'll never get tired of watching the way that they choose to engage in those situations. As I was saying, in the immediate, they had a beautiful pincer opportunity. Two of them went one way, one of them went the other way, and it was Kyrie on the Wraith who went the other way and dropped that portal, which meant that she would naturally be the target, knowing that she's alone, and the other team also learning that she's alone will say, let's take the 3v1 instead of the 3v2 in this situation. Got her low. She took the portal back. The rest of the pinch came through. Also ended up low. Also took the same portal back. So it was an incredible situation of being able to identify that your opportunity was not good, follow the plan B, get a full reset, and then capitalize on a counterattack instead of the initial designed opportunity. So phenomenal game, a phenomenal ending to the game, but also a phenomenal game, picking up 15 kills for Solus.
And Solus now our first team above the match point threshold. So if they are able to win another game, that's it. We're done. We are in the clear, and Solus go home our champions. But there is opportunity here for Lust, for Meowth, to have a big game, especially Lust, if they could just get 15 points all of a sudden. They're in the running for that as well. Capybaras a little bit further behind the rest of that squad. But we are going to send it to a quick break here as we get ready for game number 4. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. After a quick break, we are getting into game number 4. What could be our last game of the night? A quick night, if it would be so, but Solus are on match point. A couple of other teams a little bit distant as we once again take a look at our points. Lust, Meowth, Capybaras, Katana need to have a big game right now in order to get themselves back in the running alongside Solus.
Yeah, definitely going to have to see some impressive gameplay coming out of everybody. Solus has been doing a phenomenal job in all 3 games, not hitting. I mean, they hit 10th in game number 2, which is not something you expect from Solus, but 2 firsts coming through so far, and they did win their first game on this map as well. So probably feeling comfortable rolling back in here. I apologize. I am looking at the wrong map. They won their first game on World's Edge. We're still on Stormpoint. They won their second game here just a couple minutes ago. So interesting to see if they're able to roll the same, as this zone is not pulling quite as far south, but it is pulling into a very similar area. So just like you had called last time, Jurassic is going to be chaos.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, this is likely going to either the barometer section or into Jurassic, possibly Pylon. It is going in somewhere in that area, just probably not going anywhere near as deep as we had in the last game. Barometer would be interesting because barometer is just, if you're in barometer, you're safe. If you're not, you better have an ability to rotate in safely or you're going to be in pain.
Listen, I know you like Barometer because it has a great big sniper tower where you can sit with a charge
Okay,
rifle.
I
Okay.
didn't say that explicitly, and I don't like the assumptions that you're making here. I just think it's
Because I'm
cool
right.
that they're man, can you just give me this? Just a little bit of give and take right now, right? Like that's all I'm asking.
I mean, I can't blame you. It's one of my favorite spots to sit, without a doubt. In every game that I play, every FPS I have ever played in my entire life, I have been a sniper, and I will maintain that. So I'm with you. I absolutely love sitting up there as well. Zeppa and the rest of, Zeppa rather, finding themselves pushing in towards Order here, landing in Pylon, deciding to get involved in Jurassic quite early. They think they see people, but they do not have any characters on hand that are going to give them that early information opportunity. So probably going to get into this building, lock it down, because that is very much what their composition is built around, and then look to rotate from there. So center of the map, going to feel pretty good for them.
Absolutely. Order have already made their way over to Barometer. People are correctly IDing that this is going to be a barometer zone, and I like that we are seeing that because, like we have said, barometer, if you're in it, you're good. If you're not, it is very difficult to move into because of all of that open area all around it. If you're not there early, there's a lot of teams that could just look out and see you walking through the open, and you do not have a good way to get in.
Such as Lust right now. They may not actually be at
Oh
Barometer,
my.
but they certainly fought. What was that? That was an R9 from that range. All right, good for you, Renee. You're far better than I am, and you're just showing it even further. Great opportunity to pick up one res, leave the teammate behind so they can pick up another. Go try and interfere, not able to quite finish off those kills. It's
Oh,
actually
we're
the
chasing it.
living
We're
player
chasing
is
it.
the last one across. Yeah, of course you chase this. Get that nade off so there's nothing that they can do on the one side, which you know they're going to be going towards. The Arcstar drop
Careful,
back
Renee.
behind to cover. Renee incredibly low, unable to close that out. And now it is a deal who does get the last shots off. Skoden finding the wrong end of this first brawl.
Lust almost in a bad situation, but they do survive and get their KP. And again, Skoden have had a rough day, and it seems that will continue for at least this game. They will be out very early.
I'm trying to identify exactly how all of that ended up happening, because Skoden lands Echo HQ, and then, okay, Lust, yeah. I'm caught up now. I was trying to figure out what the rotations that came through for that fight to happen must have been, but it was actually just Lust pushing over is what it really seems to have. Oh, sorry, Skoden pushing over and getting caught out is what it seems to have been. As we hop over to Addicted, much closer to where we anticipate spending the rest of this game, finding the low ground of Barometer.
Addicted. Trying to peek out right now. This is likely what Barometer is going to turn to for the foreseeable future. A lot of teams grabbing these buildings and just peeking to see what teams are nearby and if they can farm some damage here. Hopefully, you're getting into Barometer with some resources, or maybe you're Addicted and you're just going to go for the push. You're just going to run straight at them, smoke them out, and run in with the PKs ready to go.
Who needs resources of your own when you can take them from somebody else? ILY on the wrong side of Addicted here as they push into the building and seemingly find no one. I absolutely ghosted that building so incredibly quickly that even Addicted seems a little lost for what ended up happening. Capybaras were on the wrong side of somebody's gun at some point in time, but managed to get the resurrection off there as well. Everybody picked back up. I don't know how ILY just vanished like that.
Harry Houdini has coached that team very clearly, alive and well. Meowth on the run right now. The ring nearby, gonna be healing up behind this rock is Samurai Sky. Meowth, one of those teams that does want to try and get a little bit more forward here in the standings. They have struggled just on the outskirts of it, and they might have a little bit more of a problem because it is Lust on the other end of this fight. Maddie has gone down. Renee has taken one, though, in response, and two have fallen down. Lust now in a 1v1 scenario. Renee needs to clutch up. There's no shields on the other end there. There's the ring doing a little bit of extra damage, and Renee just needs one more bullet. Not going to go for it. Gonna go for the shield bat first. Nemesis fully ready. Nades going down. Throwing, looking. Doesn't know where this other member went, and will just go for the res.
Absolutely love.
Nope, see him.
Hello.
And there's the damage. Renee, no shields left, has to clutch up, can't do it, and Lust are gone. Meowth win big on this fight.
Go off, Kiwi. I mean, you had the low ground, you had the worst opportunity there. You started the fight with no HP. I was gonna say that I appreciated and enjoyed the tactical decision to smoke, to reload, to bait with the res, but the double jump from the Sparrow proved to be the downfall because she was able to come up from an angle that you would not have been ready for. Absolutely incredible turnaround in that 1v1 situation. Lust, one of the teams that we were looking at to also reach that match point this game, not able to do so. Going to be very interesting to see how Meowth manages to climb that board.
That is now a huge opportunity for Meowth, and a really big lost one for Lust. Lust was our team that had the best shot of closing in onto match point in this game that was not already on it, and now Meowth, probably one of our top teams to go for that this game. They have a long way to go, but taking out a team like Lust is a good way to start it. We're gonna see Clean getting involved right now as there is the Bangalore ult for a little bit of pressure. Clean will heal back up and make their way through as the missiles explode.
Cheeky little strategic play right there. Get the rolling barrage down so there's no opportunity for them to push you. Now pushing in with the smoke, with these nades, with the Sparrow ultimate down as well, as they have taken the correct side of this Jurassic Gate. We said that this was a dangerous choke point because there is no altar to go through. The PK to the face. They were not ready for that one as they tried to push through onto Inceptulus, not able to get that initial knock on the side of, against Clean. So Clean picking up the first one there. They know that they have the high ground and the safe opportunity. The peeking through there, but it is Eclipse who are very, very slowly and incredibly patiently crawling up the hill. Capybara is eliminated, and Eclipse are definitely going to want to capitalize on this third-party opportunity.
Absolutely. Eclipse putting out some damage, getting the crack now, and Eclipse might just go for this. Good hit from the Maggie drill as well, and Eclipse will take another bit of KP for themselves. Non has to back away, will be able to do so, but just barely. Lots of damage on the back end of that, and Eclipse now on the defensive, healing back up. Gotta throw down the Bangalore ult just for a little bit of extra time. And Clean going for the revive on the one member that is still around. Counter Bangalore ult coming through. They're gonna throw down the evac tower to try and get out of this situation as soon as possible.
This tower is desperation defined. It is not a safe play at all, but they're going to go for it anyways. They just need one to get out, and I think, no, only one is gonna make it out. Incept does get knocked there, unfortunately, but that should be one member getting away. Or is that the new? Okay, I thought that was Newcastle Res for a moment there. I may be completely incorrect, and both members actually ended up back on the ground here, and that looks to be how Eclipse is approaching this.
Yeah, it is a little tough now for Clean, but they're going to try and make something happen out of nothing. Belina taken down. There is that Newcastle. They still have one member alive. They will go on the run, but in comes Fishy with the boat check, hitting hard. And now going to throw the Stinger down as well as, I don't know, might be looking for some aggression.
I mean, if they keep things like this up with these third parties in the aggression, I don't know is going to have to become turn to 11, because they just push and go and fight. And I love absolutely little things like that. The confidence to push in. The second Stinger does go down, does not actually find anybody, but it does buy a little bit of space for Fishy playing up on this rock here. R9 in hand, but the angles do not belong to you. IDK on the wrong side of so many of these bullets. Fishy, first one to go down in this fight here as well. Oh, this is a bad push overall, as it is Eclipse who turned this around completely. They were not ready, and then they didn't care.
The long-range damage was there as we see the P-20s firing like a machine gun. Yoimoto able to finish Clean off Incept, that last member taken out. But going back to that previous fight, Fishy hit some great long-range shots, but as soon as it got to be close range, they just did not have enough in the tank to take the fight. As now Coven, still two members on white shields, by the way, are in a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, it is not where you want to be at any point in the game, let alone this far into the game. As Octomoms feeling pretty confident in this fight. Once they get those shield pokes down, they're going to know that they're fighting blues on whites for the most part. But a lot of damage is coming back onto them. So you have to assume that they aren't going to be on white shields for very long, as Meowth find themselves in a good location to get some pot shots in, possibly pick up some additional KP from this, I mean, and I say this, edge of zone.
Meowth looking. They have these rocks to play off of here, and they are definitely not in an envious position, so I don't think too many teams are going to be looking this way. Solus in a very different position, as everybody's going to be looking over here now that they see the ring is going to be coming over. Scout going to hit from a distance, and Kree looking to toss out that thermite for a little bit of extra pressure. No shot.
Oh, come on.
There's no way Kree hits that, and now gonna hit a little bit further, not able to get those shots down. Kree is human. We can confirm. Moonfire in trouble too.
Moonfire in trouble from all possible angles. I mean, pull the bow out and do what damage you can.
Oh no.
Push from behind too. That was not a good situation for Moonfire to end in, but that was what it was. Even worse, though, was that push overall actually puts that team in a terrible situation. They did lose one. The other two took a lot of damage. That wall is not going to last very long, as Prey, the head angles, like that is all she could see and all she was going to hit from where she was, as now the turnaround as Zeppa actually take over the building in here.
Zeppa with the Watson can hold out for a long time. This is exactly where Zeppa have wanted to be, at least this entire series. They've finally gotten into a building, able to set up with the Watson. Now Solus looking to play aggressive here. They are going forward with that fuse of all things. And you know, if there's any team I would expect to be running it, it would be Solus. They have the aggression. down and ready as they move in here. Zeppa looking to hold out. Jen is going to get put down so that they can hold for a little bit longer. And unfortunately, Nikki can't get inside. Will have to back off. Zeppa are able to hold out.
Illusion gone in the kill feed while all of this chaos is going down as well. Zeppa actually opts to drop to try and get some shots down. Does not go the way that Violet thought it might. So instead, Yes is going to have to drop down to get that res off as well. Manages to do so. Has the passive regen on the, on the pickup there as well. But now the Villa goes down, and they're looking for yet another Newcastle res. There's no knock shield left for the Newcastle, and an alternator in hand as well right there. Soul is going to be able to push in and clean this up without losing a single member or taking a whole lot of damage. Yoi Mono going down in the kill feed, as well as Addicted also loses one in all of the chaos here. I wanted to say that Solus had one of the best comps to try and put into a Watson because they have that Bangalore who did take the electric smokes, were able to destroy the fences. It didn't actually matter in the end. Meowth is now picking up a res. Katana is trying to heal on the backside of the fight that they just came out of. So much happened in a single set of minutes. Or single set of minute. What am I trying to say right now? 8 teams left alive, 22 players. I am baffled at what we just witnessed.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of that is just, unfortunately, Zeppa throwing away the strength that they had, trying to play overly aggressive and chase those kills, leaving their safe spot, forcing the Newcastle to come out to get the res, leaving Davila alone, which means the Newcastle has to run back up, go for another res, and at that point, everything has fallen apart. Speaking of falling apart, Meowth has been taken out, and now we take a look at Order, who are making their push into this next building.
Dropping that Maggie Ball to get the move speed, going straight up and realizing there's an opportunity down low. Bunny getting some long distance PK shots off, and it is Octomoms finding themselves on the wrong side of those pellets this time around. Solus is on the upstairs as well. Careful, that is an arc star that almost stuck in your face, so not something you want to have happen, but cannot blame them for trying to get the angles down, because quite frankly, this is a staircase to heaven.
Staircase to heaven, and it might be death for Octomoms as they do go down. Now we're gonna see what happens next, because Solus are not alone here. Katana are on the outside of the building. Order are close by as well. We still have 6 squads here as we take a look at Katana getting a kill onto Vamp, who will now lose that member. Order goes out entirely in 6th place, and Solus still alive. 5 squads remaining.
Solus holding the absolute top of this structure for as long as they can. They played the bottom until they couldn't anymore, and then they took over the top forcefully. Now they spread themselves out. They clear everything, front, back, left, right, to make sure that they have the easiest rotate that they can into this. If they win this, that is it. We only get these 4 games. So long, good night. Instead, we are going to be watching the rest of these 3 teams, 4 teams, 5 teams. I don't even know. I've lost count at this point because my eyes glazed over for a moment. I apologize. As Eclipse and Addicted go at it in a 1v1 to the south end of the zone, and it is Katana, Solus, and Boo in the north end, with this zone pulling to the worst possible location for literally all of them, unless Eclipse or Addicted manage to wipe the other team out.
I really don't know if I want to say it, but Solus are kind of in match set point here. They are in exactly where they want to be, on the high ground on this building. They are the team that can look around to see the teams nearby, and they will still have high ground as those teams to the south have to move into that ravine a little bit. That is exactly where you want to be for Solus. Katana trying to fight for that high ground. You can see they want to get up top even further, and this is a really good spot to be. Lots of damage as we do see one go down. It is Kyrie and Nikki have fallen as well. Solus might be going down. Kree can't save the day, and we're going to another game.
Everybody knew where Solus was, so as soon as Katana opened the door up, Boo came in to close it behind them. to make sure that Solus did not have the opportunity to end this series just yet. Katana now cleans up Boo as well. We find ourselves down to 3 squads remaining, which hilariously means that Addicted and Eclipse did not eliminate one another just yet, but Katana is just a firing squad at the edge of the high ground, watching the hell go down on the other side. You could not ask for a more picturesque ending for yourselves than what Katana has right now. They are going to be the last team that has to drop to the low ground. They are going to be guaranteed to know where everybody is. And of course, they clean it up before even having to touch the sand themselves.
Whoever won that north side fight was almost assuredly going to win the game. It became very crucial then for Katana to get that fight right, to win it before Solus could take a lead in it, take that height advantage, genuinely tournament saving for this series here, because if Solus had won that, they likely would have gone home champions today. But we have another game in the tank at least.
At least indeed, because if we see anything similar to what we saw from Katana and they are able to pick up another game, then it ends because they have managed to hit 50 points after that. Not only was it a game and a series changing push by them onto Solus to pick that up, but it was series changing for them as an individual team as well, because they have exactly 50 points. Exactly dead on
Incredible.
50. Every single kill that they picked up in that game mattered
Wow.
in order to get them to that point. 14 they walk away with. We have not seen a victory with less than 14 kills, by the way. That is the lowest that we have seen out of a victorious team so far. Take a look at our list right now. Solus, Katana, Addicted, Lust. That is our top 4, and the closest to Meowth Story is also at 38 points, only 12 away, which is only a first place with 0 kills away from hitting match point should they manage to do it. We are getting to probably the penultimate game is what I'm assuming at this point, because if it does not end in this next one, it almost most certainly will in the 6th.
Oh yeah, 100%. You cannot go further into this saying like, yeah, we got 3 more games. It's fine. Like we could just we got at least 3 more. Surely. No. We are seeing 2 teams on match point, 2 teams that have been really solid today. Honestly, the fact that Lust went out so early is just making it just that little bit more likely we're not going to end it on this game. But you look at who has won today. It has been Solus winning just 3 or 2 of the matches, Katana winning that last one, Lust taking home a victory, game number 2. And right now, Katana and Solus on match point. Lust 12 points away from it. Addicted, with their 2 second place finishes, have gotten into 3rd with 40 points. So they just need 10 points to get into match point itself as well. But Solus and Katana want to close this out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the real tale of the time right now is the kills when you get down into it, because you do have Solus sitting as your top 3 kill leaders. Then you have Katana as the 4th and 5th. Then you hit Nico Robin, not Nice Robin, but Nico Robin from Clean and Meowth Addicted, and then 2 members from Lust is your top 10 for your kill leaders. It's incredible how close they have all managed to keep it, considering how many kills have gone to these top 2 teams of Solus and Katana.
It is on a knife's edge right now, because Solus had an opportunity to run away with it there. And you imagine they will be able to do something similar in the next game. They got the entire lobby just got bailed out by Katana. Now, if Katana bails them out again, that's a win for Katana go home champs. We can't let Katana bail them out anymore. Somebody else has to step up.
Exactly. If that was different, if that exact situation we saw between Katana, Solus, and Boo happened in our current standings, Boo would have had to do something incredibly different. They would not have essentially suicided into Solus to guarantee their elimination. They would have had to play a little bit safer to make sure that they could pick up both teams in order to continue the series going. So it'll be interesting to see if that situation arises as we move into game number 3. 3, 5. Numbers
I
are
am
hard.
so.
I don't know why I said 3 right there.
Listen. We never do math. We never do math on cast. It is a broadcast rule. because it never ends well.
It wasn't even math.
Eventually,
I can do math on broadcast. I don't struggle with that. Apparently, I can't do 3 instead of 5. It's
hey, I'm just saying, numbers have never ended well for me. I have avoided them any and all possible times unless I'm reading them on the screen. Because it just, yeah, well, okay, I can't help you with that one. Yeah, I can't help you there. No, you're just screwed.
no, there's no excuse. I just screwed up.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. We're gonna get into game number 5 this time around over on E
Do we get
District.
the count from Sesame Street? Like, are we gonna have to like read this?
2 teams on match point.
We are on to E District though, and we are looking at a much more central ring than we had in our previous match here. So we will see now where teams decide to go. Solus given a lot of space here over at Boardwalk to move into either Octomoms or Boo, likely. Katana just below them to the south. Our other match point team on Blossom Drive have to deal with Illusion at Neon Square first.
Solus, move into Octomoms or Boo. What's that meme? The sentences that would kill a Victorian child? Solus can move into Octomoms. What does that?
I was just thinking, like, what does Octomoms mean? Like, what? I'm just really curious now where that name originates from, because there's a lot of. From what?
The game Octonauts.
Is it?
It's gotta be. That's the only thing I can think of.
Because there's like Octodad as well. That is also a game that exists. But like,
okay, well that's significantly more likely then.
Yeah, but like, it's a singular dad, and why are they octopus? Octopi? Dude,
it is octopus.
I work on my grammar.
It is octopus. A common misconception
it is?
that octopi is not correct.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that a lot.
I also hate English.
I only speak English. That's a problem. I can't hate the one language I know.
See, I was about to say in French if you'd rather we could speak French, but I won't.
Okay, we talked about the French before we started this broadcast.
Oh, not the language though. We talked about the people.
Okay, well I guess that is different.
As we move into
it is hard for the language to exist without the people. I will be honest.
Solus we're looking to get aggressive early on. Instead, they're going to pop this balloon, fly themselves up at the top of the tower to get a little bit of information, I would assume. Going all the way over to Skoden now instead, who I believe were on the or look like rather, they have been on the receiving end of a couple of bullets. Katana in a similar situation. This is going to be Dopey having to get her shields back up when she has the opportunity to, as just a little bit of poke and prod from teams kind of feeling each other out as we have this drone chasing someone down. I mean, Solus does not let anyone get away for free.
Just keep pinging. Hey, buddy, you're on TV. You're on TV. You're not getting away.
Smile. You're on candid camera.
Oh, that's Katana. That's Katana. Oh no! Solus have recognized what the problem was, and they are gonna pull it out by the root.
We spent so long with me being an idiot that we didn't talk about the fact that Katana lands directly south of Solus.
I said
and they will know that.
I said it at the start.
Yeah, but we did. You did, and then I made other stupid jokes instead, and we completely forgot.
That is true. They were stupid
jokes.
jokes.
Missing a single player. We have Skoden, who's on the wrong end of absolute chaos going on wherever the heck they have found themselves. Or sorry, against whoever the heck they have found themselves on the wrong side of here. And Katana, we're also not gonna have a very good time. It looks like Solus may actually just be falling back altogether to get the res off because, yeah, you don't want to push the bill if you're not going to be able to close the game.
Next, check out this way.
Solus are just now limping their way away to try and get their team member back up. And that means both of our match point teams are down a player currently. So that is wild, first of all, because that means, hey, maybe you were right. Maybe this is not going to be the game we ended on. But two, that's just more opportunities for some of these other teams to start getting in the action and not have to worry as much about fighting one of these stronger teams. Now, obviously, nobody else knows that, but it does open up opportunities.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and something that I always like to mention in every broadcast where we do play in competitive format. They do not get to see the player names like we do of who is getting knocked. They don't know that. All they know is Mad Maggie 89264 was knocked. That kind of situation. Lust finding themselves a revive to try and target on the way down, not able to pick that damage up initially, but a knock does come out, and Coven completely eliminated. Katana, that is who was actually just revived right there. So they are back to a full 3, but whether or not they can get out of the situation that they find themselves inside of this turbine here will be a whole different story, as unfortunately that Stinger Bolt lands on top of the little piece of the bridge right there, not going down to actually threaten the opponent. But honestly, that probably works out because it just buys them space, which buys them time, which buys them an exit.
That is a long trade route that we've just gone through.
Yes.
But Katana now, unfortunately, still getting shot at, cannot find peace this game. We'll be able to at least get out from these bullets, and Dopey will heal back up.
The incredible thing here is that was Lust putting pressure down onto Katana, who was pushing them back towards Solus. What's even more impressive is that Skoden is somehow now the team that is north on the map of Solus and Katana, which means they have run all the way through them at some point in time. Lust here find themselves in a decent location for that instant when I was speaking, and now they're going to have to rotate farther north as we find ourselves in a City Hall end zone is what we are looking at here. Katana, Solus, Lust, Illusion, Skoden, all in that southwestern area compared to the zone. Capybaras, Zeppa have the entire map to rotate through, as Meowth, Boo, Octomoms, Addicted, IDK, Moonfire, Order all find themselves inside this next ring. With ILY
Lots of
very
teams.
close as well.
Yeah, lots of teams already inside this ring too. This is one another ring that is very, very clear that it is going to be pulling here. Get here now, or you're going to run out of buildings.
And out of buildings is probably what Katana and Solus are going to end up looking at, which is going to be a problem for the teams that could possibly end our day. So, do you anticipate Lust making the big push through from the west that we're looking at here, or do you think this is going to be someone like Skoden, who's made such an incredible wrap around this POI from where they started, who's going to close out the inevitable, or something rather miraculous? Maybe Illusion, who's still tanking zone for fun, I suppose, at this point in time.
It is a little tough here to tell. Lust have a lot to work through if they want to get themselves a solid enough game to get into match point territory. Also, reminder that Meowth are just 10 points away. Or was it Addicted or Meowth? I forget. My brain just it was Addicted.
They were both at 38.
They were both at 38. All right, so both these teams have opportunities here as we see Moonfire go out in the kill feed. Illusion trying to hold their high ground for right now, and it is getting invaded immediately, and they will have to dip back away. Eclipse are the ones making the aggressive moves here, but they are taking a lot of damage as well. Dawn has fallen, and Eclipse can't close it out just yet. Get a knock from Alia, who now looks to go a little bit further, but can't stay in the fight. Illusion do get fully eliminated, and Eclipse need to heal back up now.
Charge rifle in the kill feed in the hands of Bunny Amory, by the way. So that is swatched going down to that. From a very long distance, one must assume on this map for certain. It is not a gun that you see a whole lot, but it does what it does. Skoden finding a building for themselves within this next ring. They're going to set some walls up as well. Lust hoping to find a little bit of a safe place to play as they are in a brawl against Capybaras right now. And it looks like both teams should be able to get a full reset before they continue this fight, breaking the actual shield part of the walls from a distance. Safe play, smart play, and I'm sure that we're going to see Lust just absolutely push this any moment.
Lust.
Any moment.
Yeah, let's look in here. That is a solid amount of damage though from that Oh my goodness, but more damage in the other direction there as Capybaras lose. Izzy and Lust are going to take that opportunity to move in now. Renee, not at full HP, doesn't need to be because Lust have the man advantage. And they are going to move a little bit further in. The nade hits hard though, and Renee back to low HP as Lust can't do enough here. In comes the zone as well. It's only round 2, but it is another bit of mounting pressure that Lust don't want to deal with.
Lust are lucky in the fact that the rest of the teams are not on this side of zone, so they're going to have time to get themselves sorted out as Solus decide that they want to ruin somebody else's day and get right up in their business in this building. A Newcastle wall is on the ground right there, and she just tanks it. She just walks straight into it and says, go ahead, send me, I don't care. Zeppa, who had at one point found themselves as far away from zone as they possibly could, managed to get all the way into Solus's territory, not even into the actual next zone and find a fight, but Clean is going to be coming and getting involved with Solus any moment as Katana find themselves down Maple at this point as well, still trying to get themselves sorted out. We have all kinds of chaos going on for our top teams, but it looks like Skoden is eliminated there. That should be a safe reset for Katana.
Katana just on the edge there. No pun intended. Man, now I did it.
Oh, it's okay. You said sharpen in like the first game for Katana.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm not even thinking about it. That's crazy. All right, well, Katana now looking to try and reset and get themselves going because, again, one of our match point teams that would love to be able to end this here and now before inevitably more teams get involved.
Everybody is still trying to find their home as this zone round 3 is about to start closing. Neither Solus nor Katana are in zone. They are both closing in towards IDK. ILY on your screens at the moment are up to the north, a single member pressuring into Eclipse, who are finding themselves hiding under the bridge. I mean, it is a place. It is not one that you would, as you said earlier on, envy by any means whatsoever. They do not have a Newcastle to put a wall down. They do not have a Rampart to put walls down. They have no safety net. Solus, on the other hand, or on the same hand rather, do not have the ability to put any walls down themselves, but they do manage to find a building to play safely within for the time being. Eclipse still being quite heavily pressured under this bridge by ILY. Clean 3v3 fight coming out in the immediate. Damage getting dealt by both sides. One knock going down, one kill being fully finished. Eclipse gonna have a full reset. I can't get over the fact that one of them has Shrek as their clan tag.
Yep, nope, it's Shark. It's Shark. I've had this
Nope.
conversation.
That's Shrek.
Nope. I have had this conversation. I have asked the players specifically. It is Shark. Because I was scared of the same thing. Don't worry, I saw it too. I promise you, viewers at home, it is Shark.
Sorry, not sorry.
I know you're not sorry.
No.
Oh my goodness. Give me one sec, because I realized I have to turn a light on because my camera is
Go
incredibly
right
dark.
ahead. We have Clean looking to pick up a little bit of a reset. ILY actually ended up losing the engagement that they had insisted on taking against Eclipse under that bridge. So Eclipse is going to have a full reset. Clean looking to pick their members back up as they are in a brawl with Lust, with Boo, with Order. IDK and Solus are going at it on the map as well. Meowth finding themselves in the middle of this zone with a good lockdown character in one hand and a good kind of information gathering character in another. Instead, Solus find themselves down one player but picking up knocks and damage of their own. Crest with this high ground slightly outside of zone, but it's a fantastic opportunity to gather that information that was required while waiting for the drone to reset, and now they're going to be able to pick up their third player.
Good stuff from Solus.
I keep going to say the name.
I know. No, I mean, me too. Listen, if it happens, it happens. I don't want that recording to exist on the internet, you know? But Solus now hit the reset in a strong position. They're just going to move in, and they're going to move in onto Fishy, who gets knocked, and they want to finish that one ASAP, flying around the ring, helping them out just that little bit. The scout shots can't do it, but I don't know, go down. Katana are eliminated as well.
Katana being eliminated is massive. It leaves the door almost wide open for Solus, but they are down a player right now, and that player is almost getting thirsted from a distance. Lust feeling good in their location as they move into fight clean. It's actually Order who are swinging wide to try and get some kills onto Solus here as well. We do have a single rat, by the way. I'm not going to tell you who, because I'm not doing it again.
It never ends well. It never ends well. Speaking of, as we take a look at Clean, who are just getting bombarded right now with Maggie drill after Maggie drill, and there's a thermite to add on to it. Lust are just letting their opponents burn away. They finish off Robin there to get the knock, and now they're gonna go in for the rest of the team as well.
The tracking on that hop by was insane. I had only registered that they were actually right in front of them when she had already started turning to just hit the nastiest hipfire R9 spray at that moment. Complete cleanup for Meowth right there. Bunch of kills, safe location to play in the middle of the ring. They are basically uncontested from their backs at this point. From inside zone, they just have to worry about Lust on the outside of zone. Solus get themselves back up to a full 3. Addicted, eliminated in the kill feed as well.
Octomom's still in play here. They've been fairly quiet, but overall still in and inside this next ring here. Solus down on the south side of this too, so keep your eyes open for that rotation. They need to find a building, and this next ring does not give a lot of cover. Despite it being E-District, we are not seeing a building to hold in this next ring, at least not a full one.
No, this is not a multiple floors from multiple teams kind of situation. You're going to have Lust and Meowth really kind of locking down the only possible building that they're going to be in. Assuming that they leave one another alone, they decide not to. Lust with 2 down. Scar had no idea where the shots were coming. Solus eliminated. We are getting another game as well.
And it was Order that took them out. Great play from them to keep this series going, as now we're down to 5 squads. Order was eliminated quickly after Eclipse. Now moving in, Octomom's clean, gone. Eclipse trying to clean up now as they're able to take another member down. That is Issa, gone from Addicted.
This is Eclipse and Meowth as your last 2 teams alive here. This should be Meowth hitting match point, and Eclipse, depending on their kills, could actually grind themselves decently up the leaderboard, but probably not quite up into match point either. So Meowth, if they close this out, guaranteed that they are at that match point stance. If they hit the 2nd place here, it's still going to be incredibly close for them. They are down a player. They are going to maybe try and find a way to get to that respawn beacon, but it would likely cost them the game to do so. Can they win this 3v2?
They're gonna go for the respawn here.
way.
This will be huge for them. There are 2 other squads, so if you try and push this, you are risking yourself. I think that is a great play from Meowth to recognize there are too many people left alive in this game. If we can get this res off, they cannot safely push us. Reminder that these teams do not know how many players are up. They don't know that there are missing players outside of the one that just got respawned back in. Now we're down to 2 squads remaining. Boo gets eliminated. It is Eclipse versus Meowth as a full 3.
Boo sat as a solo for so long. That's who I refused to jinx a good 2-3 minutes ago. They had been sitting in the same spot underneath this pavilion. And quite frankly, Eclipse, they have the location to close this out. They have the entire center area to themselves. Stinger huge in the bottom right there. Lots of damage coming out, and zone is going to be closing.
Stinger in response here. As Eclipse having to back away, they're giving away that space that they had to hold away from Meowth, and now Meowth might be able to get that high ground that they needed to get in on this fight, and we see Eclipse losing 1 member. Meowth are still up as 3, and they want to finish this here and now.
the strength of the catalyst wall. That is what we witnessed in order for Meowth to get out of that building and into this center area. They are still a full 3. They pick up the second. Malkir lose one of their own, but close it out quite easily. Meowth finding their payday in game number 5.
There it is. There it is. I was waiting for it. The entire night, I'm like, there's got to be one. There's going to be at least one. Meowth take the victory here. A huge one for them as they get up to match point almost assuredly here.
Oh,
I think just off of placement points, they would have gotten it alone. That's not even including the amount of kills that they had. And a great res to confirm that. A great res, a great catalyst wall. Very well done by them.
Yeah, incredibly well played tactically, strategically. You brought up the very, very strong point of these players do not know how many players are alive. They don't get to see that information during the game once it gets to a certain point, obviously.
Yes.
It does tell you X squads, X players in the top right hand corner, but they did not know that Boo was a solo and had been a solo for a very long time. As far as anybody could have been aware, there was 3 full teams still alive in that end game situation before Boo got killed. So the res was a very well weighted gamble, right? It's one of
Yeah.
those everybody likes to say, it was a calculated chance and I'm bad at math. They certainly were not bad at math.
Absolutely there. But with that, now we have 3 teams on match point. Solus, Katana, and Meowth, who have just jumped in. Nobody else has been able to get up to that match point. But we are going to set it to a quick break here as we get ready for our next and possibly final game. So don't go anywhere, guys. And welcome back, everybody. Game number 6, where we would normally be calling it quits after this game, might be doing so now. We have 3 teams that are looking to close it out at our standard time. But we still have a lot of possibilities here to keep going past our 6 games as we take a look at our scores. 83 points for Solus. They have jumped far and away into first place points-wise, but it is whoever wins after getting match point. And there are 3 possible teams there. Couple of teams that could jump into that if they don't take this game home for a championship.
Yeah, we've got 2 teams under the 10-point marker to get themselves up there. Lust and Addicted, you can see in Eclipse, only 10 points away themselves. All incredibly achievable, even clean. If they win the next game, they'd only need 3 kills to go with it to hit that marker themselves, which you would assume would end up being at least the final team that they had to fight. So we are at a point where it's getting really difficult to not say this is going to be the last game because Solus, Meowth, Katana all won games. Lust, Addicted, Eclipse all come very close as well, or won games. I mean, sure, we have seen before where there was like 13 teams on match point, but I don't know about this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially when you're looking at the best teams are on match point. Like objectively here, we're looking at Solus, who are obviously, just really strong. Meowth has been having an extremely good day today, and then Katana, which has Maple on it, a previous member of Solus, has been popping off today, unsurprisingly. So Katana was going to be up there as a possible team to watch. Now we just need to see a team. The only team that has won a match that is not on match point now is Lust.
Yeah, exactly. And quite frankly, you even look at the next teams, and they're all names that you're going to know if you have been following the scene at all, right? You're going to know Renee, you're going to know Scar, you're going to know Sabs, you're going to know Pexi. These are all players that you would have been having your eyes on. Like I was saying, I don't necessarily have teams that I'm like, oh yeah, that's who I'm focusing on. But these are players, these are women who are so phenomenally good at this game and have been playing it for so long that you know who they are and you know to anticipate them within games like this, all so close to that match point finals, respectively, themselves. So, are we going to see what we saw game one with Solus landing where they would like to be? Or are we going to see, I mean, the zone, we can already tell, is not pulling to Skyhook. So they're going to have to rotate. They don't have the comfort of home for the entire game, but they are not going to have to fight their way through Katana this time.
That is very, very true. Katana down in the southwest there by Tree. Gonna have a long way to go to this ring. Here is Clean, as we saw in game number one, just looking to play aggressive, immediately grab their gear out of stacks and move on to Mod, as they did game number one. Looking like it's gonna go similarly to game number one as well.
Instep rocking the Spitfire and the RE for right now. I mean, if you just want to put bullets down, you don't get a much better gun than that one, but instead, they're going to take the loot that they can. They're going to make their way across the rotate, get into Geyser as one member of Octomom's is left alive. And they're quickly closing on the tail of Capybara. So going to have to be careful because there are people all over the place. Scan comes down, so they do know where the last player was, but they are not able to see them on that rotate just quick enough to get up that hill before Robin was able to get that vantage point.
Clean. Now just gonna grab what they can out of Geyser, and this has been their MO, right? Like, they grab their stack stuff, they kill some of the teams that or some of the team that is in Mod, and then grab whatever they need out of Geyser and really make a right here. They recognize that ring is very north. They don't want to spend too much time in Geyser looting up. They would rather get up there, get into a spot quickly, and then be ready for whatever teams are going to move in.
Yeah, let other people bring loot to you, right? You just need enough to get through that first wave of people, and then you can pick up whatever they leave behind and, conveniently bring to your building under the assumption that you get there soon enough and are able to hold them off. Clean, using that Sparrow Q to just kind of scan the, to scan for players from a great distance. One of the coolest things about this legend, without a doubt, being able to scan from a distance, not have to go and stand in that single spot, or commit to something like being in your drone and not being able to move as well.
Lust. I have seen Lust run this sometimes. They like to pull out the lifeline a lot earlier than anybody else would. And I think it just kind of leans into their level of aggression. They want to kind of just fight and immediately take those resets so that they don't have to worry about, oh, is this a bad fight that we can't reset from? Lifeline aids that a little bit here, especially on this area of World's Edge where you don't have a lot. How do you hit those shots?
What?
How do you hit those shots, Renee? That is disgusting.
How close do you think she sits to her monitor?
I don't
That's
know.
all I can think, right? Like, do you have an incredibly huge screen that you sit like an inch and a half away from? Because holy, I could barely identify that was a head. Yeah. Good job, Renee. You just better. You just built diff.
I need to get my eyes checked. Like, I think that's the thing that I've taken home today is just like I can't see people sometimes.
Tessa, I think we're just old.
I don't. let me have this, man. Like, just let me.
Right,
People
you know what?
think I'm young.
Go get your eyes checked. Go get your eyes
I
checked. It's a good thing to do at your age.
people people think that I'm young. I would like them to continue to think that I'm young. Okay?
Oh, you're young at heart. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And besides, we're talking about video games. It doesn't get much younger than this.
It is.
Octomom's eliminated in the kill feed right there. Is unfortunately they only had the one player left alive. Renee again hitting shots where I'm not even sure there's a person there. The only reason I know is because I can see their health bar, which she doesn't get to have. So I'm just further impressed as we stay on this POV. Lust, they seem content to hold this location. They don't know where the ring is going from. Well, they might know where the ring is going from here, I suppose. They do have that catalyst who could scan the ring consoles. I don't know if they have been up to it just yet, though. So they know that they're in this zone. They know that they're in the next zone. However, our teams that are on that match point do still have quite a ways to go to get in there.
Definitely a Lust. Kind of just biding their time right now, recognizing this ring's coming up towards us. So we don't need to go anywhere. Clean, meanwhile, in the middle of a fight themselves here, and they've lost their Newcastle first, which is the last person you would like to go down. Clean, now losing Insep as Robin is left alone to go and run away, hopefully pick up whatever she can, and maybe see if Insep can get finished here to grab the banner.
Robin turned her run-in that situation. Get out as quickly as you can. Thankfully for them, the third party is coming in. This is Yoimono. Decides that they want a piece of the action and then very quickly decides that actually they don't, because it was not only Clean and Eclipse that were fighting, sorry, Clean and Order that were fighting there, but Eclipse is there. Yoimono gets involved. Clean is going to run themselves right into Skoden as well, by the way. So while this charge rifle is in the hands of Nedlock, I'm assuming, is what the name that I'm looking at right there. But again, unfortunately, my eyesight is not too phenomenal at this point in time.
No, that's Ned. That is Ned.
Perfect. Perfect. Order, we do get to see them eliminated with a PK through the window. That's cheeky.
That is gross. Nedlock is... I have said this a couple of times now, but Nedlock has been one of the most improved players that I have seen in women's comp. It has been incredible improvement from Nedlock. Just on a mechanical level, on a strategic level, Nedlock has improved a lot, and I'm so glad to see success starting to hit them.
Skoden found themselves in a bit of a skirmish with the remnants of Clean. I do believe they managed to pick one of those up, and they're actually going to have Katana hopping on their tail quite soon. We haven't seen it, by the way, but Meowth is down to a solo. Solus is on the very outskirts, and we're in a bit of a brawl with Illusion as well. So at least one of our match point teams is in a very bad situation, as Skoden looking to put one of the other match point teams in a bad situation if they have the opportunity to. They are just sweeping through Clean at the moment, but Katana right on top of them, and they are about to learn that they need to turn around.
Again, Katana have pressure mounting on them. This is a game they really need to be able to win here. Clean going down just brings them one step closer. Katana do not want to allow the mass of teams below them to start getting into match point and muddy the waters.
Not in the feed, but looking at the mini-map myself, Meowth has managed to get back to a full 3. Still have quite a ways to rotate as they respawn in Skyhook East, by the way. They're going to have to make their way through. As we stay on Katana here, who bought themselves a decent amount of space in Fragment. Skoden, again, we know that they're close by, but right now, that's it. And if they stay here, rather, they will have Solus on top of them, and we will have guaranteed chaos.
I am so ready and terrified for what happens here. And the thing is, if Katana and Solus get into it, that can be just a decider on who is winning the tournament, possibly. Because those are the two teams that I think everybody is kind of keeping their eyes on. Meowth have gotten to match point. They won that last game, but it was scrappy. It was not super consistent. Solus and Katana, on the other hand, have had a little bit more consistency. Solus especially, obviously. If either of those teams take each other out, it is a strong possibility they could go the whole way.
Illusion seems to have identified that Meowth was trying to rotate in behind them. They already managed to pick up Iza, so not a situation that you want to be in as a match point team. They are very unlikely to make it out of this situation because Samurai Sky was just respawned. You can see no meds in their pocket. They are not going to be healing their way through this zone at all, and I don't know what Kiwi has managed to pick up for herself. Looks like only a handful of syringes were their total, only a single one left. May be able to get into zone, but is going to have to fully respawn their team again.
Yeah, unlikely she's going to be able to do that. Does have the shields. Can get the shields, but we are crawling across the finish line here, and Meowth likely going to run into more problems before they find solutions. Soulless looking to be the problem right now as they drop down that fuse ult, and they're going to go on the aggressive side of things.
Solus doing what Solus does, right? We always expect Solus to be the initiator.
Is Red running Vantage? They're running Vantage Mirage. I'm sorry. That just... Okay.
Vantage is Ren's go-to, if I remember correctly. That is her
It is, but it just catches me off guard still every time because nobody likes Vantage. The Mirage is also an interesting one.
Mirage is a choice. Well, okay, Mirage, the blue armor upgrade gives you access to everything, right? You get everything. You get all the scans or you get all the bits, right? It's great. It's super useful in specific situations. It also gives you the invisible res, which can be okay in specific situations, but I agree. Overall, this is a pick, and quite frankly, Skoden's probably just out here having fun. Kiwi, like we mentioned, she is alone. She just got scanned from behind as well, so she would have seen it, so she knows that she's got to keep running because, that was Solus that scanned you.
Yeah, of course it was. Although Solus have their own problems here as Nikki needs to be pulled back up. Katana looking for their own fight here. Will get scanned by the Sparrow Q, and now Katana need to keep their eyes behind them as well because teams will be continuing to look in their direction.
Katana standing right on top of Skoden. They have a clip staring at them, and Solus is looking to make their way in that direction as well. They know that the last player of Meowth is somewhere out there. They won't know that it's Meowth, but they know that they're Moonfire gone in the kill feed. More charge rifles from Nedlock, by the way. That is a full kill and then an additional knock and an additional knock and a stinger bolt kill for Nedlock. That is 4 kills for Nedlock, by the way. Meowth gone. They will not be taking this game or this series in this game. Boo goes down in the kill feed as well as Katana and Solus are getting at it.
Katana getting the kills here. Already have knocked Kyrie, and there's going to be the Stinger out as well. Throwing out all of them at once, just covering as much ground as possible. Great tracking from Dopey, who gets one, and now Katana may have time to get Maple back on her feet. The res will be completed. They don't have any heals, though, so Katana will have to slowly heal back up, but they are able to do so, and that will be a loss for Solus. They are still in the game, but they are limping.
No, they're not. Is still in the game. Solus ended up getting thirded by Illusion. Solus is gone.
Did. I didn't even
Katana
see that.
is going to manage to pick up the loot. Or sorry, they could have decided to pick up the loot. Instead, they're actually pushing into Illusion, who have come on the other side of them.
Dopey is feeling on top of her game today, able to put the bullet straight through Solus. And while that wasn't what killed them, they were not able to last very much longer after, where now Katana need to be careful themselves as they take a lot of damage, have the height advantage to work with, and Illusion are down to a single member. Daxian will be just throwing out the Stinger, hoping for a prayer, because Katana smell blood in the water.
Katana are not in zone in this location, so not only are they going to have to finish this last member of Illusion, they are then going to have to fight Coven if they decide that this is where they want to be. Capybaras may have an angle on them sometime soon as well. We have ILY Addicted, Capybaras all sitting in this zone, with Capybaras sitting in the next zone as well. Skoden and Yoimoto are also going to be rotating in here. Katana doing what Katana does, though. Eclipse eliminated. on the side themselves. And look at the
Oh, no.
angles being picked up from this rooftop, but lots of long distance shots. Dopey taking a lot of damage, gonna have to fall back down and take a moment to heal as Maple, you are the only person who's able to put any pressure down, and instead, the entire team of Coven having an opportunity to reset, but also taking shots from a distance through that
Oh!
window hole on the side. Illusion eliminated. Katana find themselves down to a single player who is almost at half HP. They're gonna be looking for an armor swap, and maybe sliding down the lava here might be their only play, but I highly doubt it. I don't know if Reset's going to be coming in here for them.
Oh,
As Coven-
oh, just grab the shield again. Just go for something, and it's a lot, but it's not enough. Skoden go down. Katana are gone as well, and I believe we have confirmed ourselves to another game. All of our match point teams are gone.
We have Yorimono, we have Addicted, we have ILY, we have Coven, we have Capybaras left alive and all going to be fighting to get into the space that Capybaras are currently holding. Coven actually dive head over into that truck that was occupied at the moment. Not what they were hoping to have happen. That's going to be one member down for Coven right there. ILY putting a lot of shots from the distance, and both Yorimono and Addicted actually choosing to play significantly more passively at this time and say, you know what, you guys go right ahead. Yorimono, I understand, they are only a duo.
Only a duo, and clearly do not have a lot in terms of shields because they just can't even get Nedlock back up to full health. Addicted off in the distance. Gonna take some pot shots, but they are looking to keep people away from them. Ideally, they will have to start moving as the ring does push them ever closer to these other teams.
If we can take a quick look at the minimap, you'll get a very good idea of where everybody is in this instance, because Yorimono, Capybara, and Addicted all have little buildings for themselves to play in. As you can see, ILY is going to have that high ground. Coven still, or I don't know if it's still or back to a duo. I thought they were a solo for a little bit. They're all just kind of playing around rocks. Capybara looking to put a flank out onto Coven to ensure that they do not get too comfortable. Izzy, I mean, you may have your own shield to play behind there, but you got to be careful nonetheless. That's a lot of people who want you dead.
ILY slowly moving here as they finish off Coven. But now, where do they go from here? They have high ground, but they do not have cover. They do not have any of these buildings that are left here, and you can see that that is starting to hurt a little bit. Lum backs away to heal back up. Has the overtime heal, meaning those shield cells provide a lot while being very numerous.
Yeah, 16 cells in pocket with that overtime heal is exactly what you want to have in this situation with the high ground as well right now. So able to put a lot of damage down onto Capybaras, who are just trapped within that little building. Yorimono is also going to have an angle to drop damage onto them too. So have to be very careful. Those two train cars are the places to be, as that's actually going to be Capybaras deciding that they're going to engage on Yorimono. I don't know if they identified that it was a duo, but they said it doesn't matter, we're going in anyways. They do manage to get the kill. Izzy does go down, and that's the Newcastle. Definitely not the one that you want to lose, as Addicted get the shots down from across the train tracks, but nobody else is going to immediately commit onto this. ILY have pushed into Capybara's old building and are going to have an angle from there, but it looks like Capybaras are actually going to get to fully reset.
Incredible that Capybaras actually get the time for this. Addicted just not feeling strong enough. They're also losing the the ammo that they have there. Addicted, though, getting involved in this fight, but they've lost Sabs, so Addicted struggling just a little bit. And while Capybaras may not be feeling strong, neither are Addicted. Envy, last one alive, and ILY now starting to fly in. They may have been able to bide their time long enough to get this victory. That is Addicted gone. Capybaras left inside, and they have to find some way to make this work, but I think there's too many angles that ILY have. They will take our 6th game.
I have got to give a lot of credit to ILY in that last top 3. Their decision to lay down equal fire was perfect. As soon as Addicted decided that they were going to push, they completely attention change, right? We knew that Capybara was already in a bad situation. We knew that they had just taken that fight. They had lost a member. They also would have known that an additional member was knocked. Again, they can't see how many players are left, but they can count in the kill feed how many knocks versus kills have come down. So they would have been able to see a knock went down during that fight. Addicted waited too long, decided to push after a delay, which meant that it was a 3v3 fight on those train tracks with ILY putting bullets down from where they were to whoever they chose. And it was in the backs of everybody and they spread it evenly. They took a lot of damage, or sorry, laid a lot of damage down onto Addicted as Addicted tried to push down the train tracks. And ultimately, Addicted got eliminated first as a result of a delayed decision. ILY cleaned the whole thing. And I am excited to see how far up the standings they push because they were in 10th.
Yeah. They were pretty far below, and now we have to imagine we're getting at least another team into our match point standings here. And as we do take a look at it, ILY do jump into fifth. So they jumped a good bit, just 3 points away from match point. However, Addicted did get enough to just squeak their way into match point. Lust have been struggling since they hit that like 40-point marker, and it has been tough going for them. They've not been able to get up. Capybaras have with them. Eclipse at 42. Again, if we don't end it here, there is a swarm of teams that are going to be looking to get to match point.
When you get to 4 or 5 teams, that's really the I don't know if this is going any further point. That said, both Lust and Capybaras can close out games. We know that it is within their realm of capability. So, are we really going to say that this is the last game? We've been saying it for 2 games that it could be the last game. I'm not going to speak in any definites about it because they all have such good players. There's no way that you could possibly try and say that the players that or the sorry the teams that are not currently at match point couldn't take a game, right? It's just
Yeah.
not safe to say it. It would not be a very intelligent thing to say, which is why it's surprising that I'm not saying it. As we take a look at our kill leaders, with again we have Solus in number 1 and number 2. However, 3 and 4 now belong to Katana and 5 belongs to Meowth.
Yeah, it is now kind of like reaching end game here. We are hitting critical mass on our points. Eventually somebody's got to go and take this. I don't want another long night. I have had a like 12-13 game match point. Like I was going insane. Do not put me through that again.
The very first match point that I ever did, which was 2 weeks after match point was introduced, was 11 games. It was the first one I ever did, and then everything since then has been 5 games. So I'm excited to get a middle ground finally. But I'm with you. I don't want to do 13. I don't want to see the entire lobby on match. I mean, it would be kind of cool to see an entire lobby on match point, but I don't want to experience it as a commentator who has to go to work tomorrow.
That is true. Yeah, no, that's true for you. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm chill. It's fine. It's fine for yeah, okay, like my bad. All right? Like I have off tomorrow. My fault. Like my bad. I'll call them right now. I'll get more hours, I guess.
Call them and tell them you'll be there at 8 o'clock.
Yep. Yep. I'm going in,
Yeah.
guys. But they'd be really upset if I did that actually. We now kind of like need to keep our eyes too just on teams that are just on that threshold, because now we've kind of seen a couple of games now where Lust have just not been able to get there. And now, what does that mean? It means some of these teams might be stuck in that 40-point area for a bit, and some of these teams might shoot past them, and that starts to affect the mental. And that's not a thing that gets talked about a whole lot, is when you start to struggle at that 40-point threshold, you are getting frustrated. I do not care how calm you seem to be. There is going to be frustration if you can't get past that barrier for a couple of games.
Exactly. Lust picked up 30 points in the second game of the day, which means they have only picked up a combined 14 points in the other 5 games. So, a difficult place to be, to finding themselves finishing, I believe, 17th in that last game that was just played as well. And quite frankly, their landing climatizer on this map is not always the best feeling either. You're very remote and far away. You're almost guaranteed to have to make a difficult rotate because it's uphill a lot of the way as well. You're going to have to make your way past survey camp through epicenter. You can see IDK have actually taken epicenter as well as survey camp on their landing. Addicted has all of monument and fragment that they're going to be able to loot as well. But this zone is significantly stronger for our match point teams as Illusion pick up a kill onto Violet, and I believe that's the first one that we've seen.
Believe so. Yeah, that would be our first. Remember now we have a Pathfinder now. An illusion.
We've seen a few.
Have we seen a few? I have not.
We
I have
have
not
seen a
caught it. It has. Look, I'm just still like in shock and all that we had a Mirage Vantage composition in our last game.
That survived beyond the first fight.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. Let's be real here. Surviving past the first fight has less to do with the character itself and more to do with just your capabilities as a player.
Okay. Scouting came 6th with that squad.
Yeah,
So-
no, they did very well. I'm just saying we might want to think about the meta here because we are seeing now the Revenant come through from Nedlock. Yoimono recognize aggression may be needed here.
Yeah, deciding to switch things up. I mean, we saw Nedlock doing a lot of work with that charge rifle, picked up a lot of kills in that last game with it. Instead going something significantly more aggressive, and so far not working out for his team, or sorry, for her team. It is just bad. It's bad situation to be in, as Nedlock is the last player alive, manages to just scrape that escape by. I mean, absolute skin of your teeth moment right there. You're going to have to keep running. The Forge Shadow does get popped, so at least she has a little bit additional health here, but...
Yeah. It's not a great place for them to be.
No.
They are not happy that they have to pop that just to get out, but it is worth it to stay alive. Nedlock will get to see another fight, likely. Capybaras, though, able to clean up just a little bit more KP for themselves. IOI, after their very strong previous game, now going to be sitting around at Grandma's house. And I'll be entirely honest, I have not seen a team hold Grandma's house and succeed.
No, it's definitely
Not
a fight tonight, last night, for the last 6 weeks. It just doesn't happen very frequently because it is a very easy location to attack. As we have so many knocks in the kill feed right now. We have a fight going on with Eclipse right here on this bridge. As you can see, there is chaos being sown so early in this game. Meanwhile, we have many of our teams just kind of floating very far away. Order and Lust haven't even begun to think about moving into the zone.
Yeah, as we take a look now at Zeppa, who are just kind of playing it slow right now. Recognizing, hey, we got some players around us. Violet does get back in and will now be putting out some pressure. Already max level? How did that happen? I'm in shock right now as Zeppa just take on Boo and win, I think, purely from shield levels.
Purple armor with 126 damage. Either way, Solus smells blood in the water, as they so frequently do. An amazing arc star to just open this fight up for them. They're gonna push right in behind them. Oh no, that is fish in a barrel moment with Sheila.
Oh, Sheila. Sheila is firing freely now as Solus push in. They will get some of their KP. They don't finish off the squad, but they are feeling fine right now.
The power of smoke is the reason that an escape was able to be had there. No more digi-threats in the game, so you know, something beautiful about these days, as this 30-30 with a 1 dot in hand does not hit anything. We do see Zeppa go down in the kill feed as well right there. Unfortunate for them, not the best day of gaming I'm sure that they've had in a very long time. Solus are holding this ground up on the wall. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to stay here though, because they are very open.
They're very open. This actually does seem to be where this ring is going to pool, however, so they are probably likely trying to get at least some level of control of the area, because I'm sure once this next ring does close, we will start to see that this ring does get into that countdown area.
bits and pieces of loot being picked up, making sure that they have all the health items that they need, all of the ammo that they're going
Yeah,
to
they want to
need.
hold this.
And there,
You can see they're stocking up.
Yep, they have just started dropping the extra bats, and they're going to keep going back down to those boxes to pick every piece of healing and equipment up that they possibly can. Clean look like they're going to try and lock down and here drop the wall for a little bit to keep themselves safe, as they had a single member that was down and going to have to pick up. Ren over onto the Pathfinder this time around, decided that the sniper was not the path that they wanted to take, but they are once again running the lifeline, and to go with it, I'm curious as to what this composition is supposed to be, because you have a defensive, I don't fully understand what they're running, but it doesn't matter because they are going full send into this team on the inside. They knew that they had a single knock on their side the first time around. That wallet went down, the Gibby went down, and in the end, Clean goes down in their entirety. That was about the most defensive composition that you could be running for sitting inside a house, and it did not go the way that they wanted.
Yeah, and part of that is just what NG Skoden have, right? You're looking at the Revenant that could just fly right in, take fights freely. You have the lifeline as well, just to continue healing that Revenant, to get Revenant back up if he falls. It is a great chance that if you're going in, you're going to have a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, at the very least, you're going to have the drop on them between the Pathfinder, with the Pathfinder here as well, because it's, I don't even know. So long as Adil can keep up, they'll be fine. That's my main concern, is can Adil keep up with the other two legends when they decide to engage, because you're gonna need to be able to drop that ultimate. You're gonna need to be able to get the heals and the res off if and when your teammates take damage and go down. Speaking of, Eclipse look like they think they found somebody.
Oh, well, they have. I can see it on the screen right now. It just dropped out of the dropship, and the nades are going to fly as well. 43 damage from that 30-30 Hemlock, or 30-30 Hemlock. Wow, I'm just
30-30 Hemlock.
30-30 Hemlock. Yep, we are combining guns. Eclipse, though, still looking for the aggression as they continue to fire, although they're missing some shots here. They can't seem to get the shots down, and the nades flying out in response might give a little bit of time for their opponents to get away.
It's very good angles that these shots from their opponents were coming in from, being able to kind of pull those head glitches. Unfortunately, it's still just a Mirage standing inside that has to suffer the fate of the R99 in the hands of Lovenon. And then their teammate, who is also knocked, goes down there as well. Octomoms is who was on the receiving end of these bullets. It is the Pathfinder that's alive. Lots of maneuverability there. You know, the ability to gather intel with scans as well. But a very big body is going to have a difficult time getting a full reset. Nice shot.
Yeah, and you can see that's already becoming a little bit of a problem there, as Addicted able to hit that shot. Tana, one of our match point teams, currently gatekeeping in the tunnel. So they are trying to play edge as best they can. They have been able to get inside of the vault, grab a little bit of extra loot for themselves, and Dopey very close to getting to purple armor. Just needs a quick tap and run back to the team.
That's one of the worst feelings, is when you're that like 12 damage away. And
yeah.
You want to do something about it, but you also don't want to die. Speaking of not wanting to die, Yoimono finding themselves in the middle of zone after they make a rotate with those health meds in hand at the time. They're going to be running into Illusion here as well, as a lot of shots coming down. I mean, it's not the most damaging zone, but you still have to be concerned about it. Okay, I thought that was the med kit being popped. I was like, I don't think that's gonna go off in time. But, that looked like a connection issue too.
Yeah, the syringe isn't enough either. And Yoimono left with Nedlock once again. We have seen this before. Unfortunately, I think this time is a little bit less likely to see Nedlock get somewhere going forward, but never say never. NG Skoden still fighting outside this tunnel here. They got a minute before this ring starts to close, and they're going to have to either start moving to the north now or go through this tunnel when the ring starts to close.
Yeah, if they decide to go in here, they're going to be forcing their way through not only Eclipse, but they're going to run immediately into Katana if that is the path that they choose to take. If they go north, Capybaras are already sitting up at that cut, but north is the play to make, because that's where the next zone is pulling. Lust finding themselves down a member and down a little bit of health as well. Yoimono does get eliminated as you predicted, because, I mean, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that one person could do in that situation that they were in. We are finding ourselves at the point where individual rooms are going to be the catch-all for these players. Lust has theirs locked down. We know Solus has one as well just across the way from them. IDK and Meowth both going to find themselves something that they can sit inside of. Lust is just outside of the zone, so they're going to have to push their way in as they decide to just absolutely blitz across a bridge straight into IDK.
And that's Order that is coming in behind them as well. They're waiting for this ring to start moving in, and you can see they're running a little bit of a big boy comp here. Lust now getting into the fight, but now the third party from Order might cause a problem. Lust now seeing that problem come into play, and Lust are going to be eliminated. I don't know. Also going to be on the receiving end of this, in Order made the right call at the right time to get a little bit of extra KP for themselves.
Order had the greatest flank that they could have asked for. Crouch walking up that ramp when we first flipped over to them. Waited until they saw the knocks in the kill feed. Got in there and cleaned it up. Skoden, as we mentioned, going to be having a difficult rotate as they were going to be in the wide open and still had to get through the cut to get some cover. They do manage to find just a little bit. Those fences, not necessarily the safest place at all times, especially as that Rolling Thunder does come down. They're going to be taking a little more damage. There it is right there. But the shield cell will fix that for them. Maybe able to heal back up and realize that they're actually in a semi-decent spot as the zone pulls towards them. ILY, on the other hand, also in a good spot, but a lot more eyes on them.
Yeah, they're looking right now. Capybara is kind of out in the open at the moment, and that is a little bit tough for them. And Techni feel a little bit of the pain of that. They do have Izzy on the new castle, so there is damage that can be done. Techni can also put up the walls herself. Now got to throw out the little bit of extra damage from Sheila, just firing into the smoke to find something, trying to figure out where that team is, but only 23 bullets left. Just gonna fire them into that little RV as Capybaras, the rest of them are gonna move forward.
I'm very impressed by Capybara's decision to push in here because they have that high ground on lock, as we saw, with two legends that are incredibly good at holding ground like that. So I anticipate that they will make the return to this tower and just kind of put up all of the walls on all of the locations. As Addicted also sitting on the high ground with a Kraber and a gold R9, by the way. I mean, talk about a possible game ender in your hands right there. One shot from one and a one bullet from the other will certainly end a player if the first shot is not ahead. Instead, that zip line up to the high ground is to contest them is certainly a decision being made by their opponents. That is not the side of zone that you want to be on, and you're really just going to kind of expose yourself to all of the other teammates that are looking at you. Do they?
Because
yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
You are correct. Yeah, see? Yep.
Just wanted to make sure. Addicted now to keep their eyes open on both sides here because they're just kind of getting pushed. At the same time, all of these teams that were in countdown now need to move to the right. They have to get out of that area and move into the open rocks here where there is very little cover. We're talking about Solus. We're talking about Meowth. We're talking about ILY, we're talking about Order, who are fighting Capybaras right now. Addicted, trying to move a little bit more north, and I don't know if they've got enough in the tank to make this work.
ILY gone, IDK gone, Meowth, one of our match point gone, Addicted gone. Katana is somehow still alive, but they are not in a very fun situation as Solus, Coven, Katana, and Eclipse are all brawling directly on top of one another. Katana, single player left. They're going to be getting out just a little bit. Order does go down. Somehow Doki is still alive. Oh, never mind. Eclipse closes the chapter on Katana for this game. Solus is still a full 3 as we find ourselves with only 4 squads left, one of which is a solo.
And Solus is our final match point team alive, so they need to close this one out themselves. But if they don't, we're going to another game. We got another one in us. But Solus definitely want to finish things now. They're throwing down the bullets to try and get that Newcastle wall down because they know they're going to have to move in that direction fairly shortly.
Capybara and Eclipse both still alive, sitting at 44 and 42 points respectively at this point in time. With the kills that they have, they will certainly hit match point if and only if Solus does not take the victory in this game. I mean, Capybara, you are in the position to close it out. Look at the long-range smoke. Look at that calculation. We don't do math on stream, but they certainly do while they're playing.
Solus, ooh, Kree getting hit real hard, and Solus are a bit of a pinch right now. In comes the Rolling Thunder, and Solus got to find a way to get to safety because there is a lot of pressure being put on them. Coven, that last member, does get found, and Solus got to look for the rotate here with the Ashport. They're just going to go for it underneath the tower that holds their opponents above.
Not just one team, but both teams. Eclipse had made a move onto Capybaras. The brawl was already happening. I mean, Solus just took the opportunity to put themselves underneath and not involved in the fight. Eclipse completely backs out. They surely heard the Ash Portal as it came in.
Oh, they're looking.
So all three teams know. All three teams are within a couple meters of one another and are incredibly aware that everybody is by them. Capybaras, you may have the high ground, but that makes you the most obvious target no matter where anybody else is. Eclipse, actually, as you can see, has moved just a little bit away and are the team closest to this next zone pull. They have the opportunity to play spoiler to Solus and keep us going.
Solus are just doing their best to try and play small. They do not want to get in this fight. They want to force Capybaras down from the height and hopefully have Eclipse and Capybaras take a little bit of damage towards each other before Solus gets involved. But that is a hard task when you are just right below them and Eclipse is looking in that direction.
Everybody's just scurrying. That's the only term I could possibly think of for what is happening right now. Scurrying. Popping a little shot here, a little shot there, letting everybody know that yes, we're still here, yes, we know you're still there. No incredible Vertnades dealing hundreds of damage just yet. You have to assume resources are starting to get a little scant. That balloon does go up to threaten the up top. Solus probably feeling like maybe if we get up there, we could win it, we could reset because Eclipse wouldn't be able to close in on us too easily, but there is a Sheila sitting on top of that. So your balloon's gone before you even realize that it's fully set up. Eclipse have themselves walled in very, very tight right here with all of the traps down, and they have that catalyst wall as well.
They have catalyst spikes set up. I mean, you cannot ask. That is a cozy little room, cozy little hole in the wall, like a New York apartment, as they are going to be holding out Eclipse. Solus, though, below, they've been able to find a little bit of ground for themselves. They realize Eclipse are not looking to get involved in this, and now the question becomes, who pulls the trigger first? This ring is going to close a lot before anybody is required to move. You can see it's already gone about halfway, and it's still just not forcing any angles here. Capybaras might have to drop from their height, and if they're not paying attention to where these teams are, it could go really badly.
Solus has been playing these itty-bitty mind games the whole time, and I absolutely adore it. They keep climbing up these legs, just making noise, forcing Capybaras to twist and turn and change their angles constantly. Eclipse tucked right into this corner. They're going to be able to wait to the very last second, but they do have to climb to get up there, so they're not going to be able to get any of that preliminary damage down that you might be really hopeful for. Capybaras, no, there's no way Capybara makes a play to get to the low ground and forces. That would be just handing the game over to Solus.
I mean, taking the zip is not the worst thing because it does give you a lot of defenses when you're on it. As now they're just gonna drop down and go for it. Solus, Kree is already really low. Kree is already knocked, and Solus are in a little bit of trouble. We just see Nikki alive. She's caught in the zone. She doesn't know where she is. Just firing, and Solus not able to do it. Eclipse,
Oh
somehow, someway, take the victory.
Tactical genius. The play that nobody could have predicted. Dropping the Newcastle wall from the top rope and knocking Solus into zone.
Incredible. Damn. Incredible.
Damn.
How in God's, I just like, it's situations like that where you just gotta hope. You can't see a damn thing. There's the zone, there's the catalyst wall, there's way too much happening at Eclipse. Get such good angles there. They force the engagement between Solus and capybaras, and they're able to clean up at the end of it. Massive stuff. Does mean we are going to another game here, but before we get to that, we're gonna send it to a quick break to get ready for it, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. All right, and welcome back, everybody. We're not done yet. We have more games in store for you after an insane ending where I don't even know what happened. I don't know how it on it. I just know that they did. And Solus were not able to close it out. So we are now moving on. And look at the explosion of match point teams. We have 7 now.
7. And Lust is not one of them.
And Lust is not one. That was what I was going to say. Is the craziest part of that is Lust is not able to make it again.
They have not had a good time since game number 2, which was on E-District, which is where we are headed right now. So, do we see them play spoiler this time around? They're one of the only teams left that we can turn to. I mean, we have seen great gameplay out of multiple teams, but they are the only team that has closed one out. And aside from that, Boo and Yorimono are the only teams that have even come top 3 that are not at match point. So interesting to see what happens from this point as Solus crests 100 points, by the way.
Insane. I am just... When are we ending? We're hitting the point now where I'm a little concerned. when we have hit the point of like, okay, it's game 7, we still haven't ended. I get a little concerned at the ability to close from some of these teams.
It has been a day, to say the very least. The only characters that we have not seen, or sorry, who have we seen? Oh, we have a Loba in the lobby. We have a Loba, or had a Loba in the lobby.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Well, important thing, Ring going up towards Solus this time around. It is heading into the area of Octomom's, Solus, Boo, Illusion. They're all in that Ring area, and it is going to now be Capybaras, who have already taken down one member from Order.
mean, why not? At this point, just go, right? They need to keep the pressure on. What we have seen from the teams that have been victorious in all of these games is consistent gas pedal down. Anytime somebody has decided to slow down, it has not played out that well for them. They need the momentum. It has been phenomenal because that additional adrenaline in these fights seems to be what carries people through. These comps are just getting fun now as well. We have not reset any of the pools, which means we are getting whoever the heck you can that can give you zone and player information. This time, Battery.
Yeah, I mean, just screw it, right? And you know what? I don't care what character you're playing. If you can hit shots like that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Coventry, bad time. You know what? Your clan tag is Jork. I'm okay with what happened to you.
Man, we're not gonna say Nikki's tag, but we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that tag.
I mean, you're the one that doesn't want to say goated. Doesn't want to say goated Chungus Pro. That's on you. Yoimono eliminated, by the way. They have come and gone, taken out by NG Skoden. Love to see a little bit of life out of this team. They've survived in some games and have not in others. We are yet to see them thrive, and we know that they are able to. We know that Ren and her squad can just really turn it up and get going. Dropping that wall for a little bit of safety while getting the ring scan too. That's just experience.
Yeah, experience does start to really come in clutch at these moments here where we're getting late into the night. Just like as teams adjust, as things change, can you adapt? And Clean needing to adapt right now as their team member needs to get picked back up. They're calling back here that Newcastle wall. Moonfire go out in the kill feed, and Eclipse are winners from last game. Definitely not able to replicate that this time around.
Gone out in 17th this time around, 16th this time around. Apologies. Not fun at all. Ali, unfortunately, it looked like she ran in there with no ammo left in her R9. She had to reload after firing 3 or 4 bullets. And that's the stress getting to you. That's the exhaustion of this absolute duration-based run that the players are having to go through. As we see Violet picking up a full kill onto Bunny Emery as well there. As ILY start to move their way into this area, they want to find a building to sit in, or they're chasing someone down. As again, these compositions are just getting more and more fun. When you have the Ashe who just wants to go with 2 incredibly defensive legends beside her. Oh, they're running away, not towards.
And I mean, that's ideal, really. Is like a lot of people have fallen off of the Ashe because she has gotten so many nerfs, but I think she still does have a really solid purpose. The mobility is obviously great. I think Ashe's port is still a really solid rotational tool, even though it's a little bit slower now. You don't use it to get engages off, but it is still really good at getting one place to another.
Exactly, and that's what you need with those other 2 legends, right? You can't play
Exactly.
Wraith anymore, which is you're doing the same thing, just with a significantly longer range and slightly more safety, but she ultimately plays the same way as Wraith. You use that portal that rotates when you have to get your defensive characters to safety. You have the mobility to poke in and dodge back out and get some damage down early on. Speaking of damage, Sunny, heal, girl. That is a single HP left on that Newcastle, and as we keep saying, not the legend that you want to lose. As Clean have one of theirs go down, and Boo are just, I mean, they're fishing from up here. They know that the enemy is sitting down in that doorway, and they're just waiting for them to come up so they can drop bullets on them.
Well, they might be waiting a little bit longer there. Steph gets knocked, and him maybe not wanting to be down there. Clean does get the 1 knock there, and they're just gonna have to turn back around because there was another team on the other side there. Lena has to back away and hit the shields because, again, you do not want to lose that Newcastle. They've left Incept out to dry, but she is holding her ground for now, and Clean able to back away safely.
That was a situation. Deciding to drop down and start the push at the same time that you lose a teammate, entirely unideal. Shield broken Mirage, by the way, so there is a Mirage in the game. Once again, Clean fighting a war on 2 fronts and seemingly winning both. I mean, okay, just show off.
That would be clean. Able to pick up a little bit for themselves here. Sunny B will be taken out. And IOI on the run as a solo for now.
Boo still sitting up in this high ground, feeling relatively safe. I can't entirely blame them. They haven't had anybody super challenge them in terms of pushing up on them. They had some difficulty when they decided to go low, but Capybaras look like they're deciding to change that. They're looking to go up the stairs. Sorry, have we changed entirely? I started talking about Capybaras as though they were clean. That is not the case. Obviously enough, they are in a completely different region. PK shot just barely whiffs on the backside of the Pathfinder as they ran by. That is Katana, who is sitting on the inside of this building. They really need to close this one out because they have been able to for a couple of games now, and they have just not finished anything. Struggling at this point. It seems as though the legend bands are really eating through their comfort.
It is a little bit tough at this point because you are starting to have to pull from the bag here, and specifically you need to have some comfort while also being able to put a composition together, right? Like you can be good at a character, but it does not matter if it doesn't fit with the composition that you're trying to build. If nobody can play a rotational legend that's left, you're running into a couple of problems.
Exactly, and that's why with the legend bans that are implemented these days, it is not so simple as I can play meta character very good and make a team. You must be able to play multiple legends to suit your role within your team. Speaking of rolling, Capybaras not looking to be in a good spot initially, but the absolute turnaround by the Technique flank means that Katana find themselves down a player.
Not feeling too hot at the moment, and they are getting hit from behind as well. Capybaras have been eliminated. Katana still on the run. Zeppa able to put a dent in this lobby a little bit here. As Capybaras going down does take one of the stronger teams out.
Yeah, Zeppa, not a team that we have seen be particularly loud in any of the games so far. And they rolled in and took a fight against two of our already hit match point teams. Mind you, it's getting harder to not fight a match point team. Managing to eliminate Capybaras and put Katana on the back foot, taking out one of their players too. As we hop over to Lust, who's in the exact same area and also putting shots down onto Katana.
Firing from a distance, not a whole lot to do. We have an Octane. Huh.
An Octane running flatline at that.
An Octane running flat. Yeah, we have just said, you know what? Nothing is real. We can do whatever we want. God cannot stop us. And you know what? It's working.
What?
It's working. Sure.
All right, somebody call Nicewig.
Yeah. You know, Lust, they desperately need these points. I was not expecting the Octane to come out when the desperation hit, but here we are.
So the Octane has the amp that gives them the passive regen, or like the regen over time rather. So both health and a single shield cell means complete regen over time. Yeah, smart.
Wait, Octane passive works with that?
Octane passive always heals over time, right?
Yeah.
For your health. So your Octane passive is already healing your health over time, and then you pop one cell, and your shields now heal over time. It's the same as Watson. Watson passive healing your shields over time, you're just using one syringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's right.
Clean holding this bridge for now, taking shots and laying down shots to keep everybody away from them as best as they can. Not an ideal situation because they're not going to be very far into zone as Coven and Meowth fly straight over their heads and try to land right on top of one another, panicking in the very end, but managing to find a slight amount of safety. Not a whole lot of it, but a little bit.
Solus. They've wanted to end this for a long, not been able to close it out. Now in a position where they are feeling pretty darn good. It's not peak endgame position, but they are able to pick up a spot that they can hold as the ring continues to close around them. Pexi, I'm gonna throw up. I'm glad you're in the bathroom.
Spin.
No, stop. Stop spinning.
with spin to win.
No.
Skoden and Zeppa, the two teams with the best possible locations for the future at this point in time, and historically have been very content in staying where they are when they do manage to get those locations. So I don't anticipate them leaving anytime soon. So teams are going to have to fight through them. As Solus make a rotation over to the building the Coven wanted to be going for. Big fight going on here. Historically, we know what's going to happen in the end, but can Coven clutch this out and eliminate our first place team and the team that has been trying so hard to end the day? It does not look like it this time. Coven eliminated. And Solus, they don't lose anybody, rotating quite well in and out to manage that data and mitigate it for the most part.
Ooh,
Katana
nice.
down to a single player who has no shields left. Great little grapple out. But a bad place to be in the end. We hop over to Clean, who have managed to find themselves a cheeky little location to sit inside of that is not only good for right now, but could possibly be good for later on.
IOI down to a single bit of HP for themselves here. This is one of our match point teams. And yeah, no, no longer in the game. Yep, my fault. My fault, guys. Order, able to take them out. So Order have started to ramp up a little bit here. They've been getting going bit by bit, piece by piece. They've taken out some of these match point teams to keep this series going.
Katana is a solo at this point. Zeppa, Clean, Skoden finding themselves in decent locations. Solus doesn't have far to go. Meowth putting some shots down onto Addicted as they come in from behind them. And Order, we just saw they actually have a relatively safe, or I shouldn't say safe, uncontested rotate into this zone, but they're going to have to go to war with Skoden once they get there. Addicted going to war in the immediate as I say the word, deciding, you know what, we're going to hard fight Meowth, and it's not going the way that they want because Solus has angles on the entire event.
And that is the Sheila minigun doing the work for Kyrie. Able to take one down there for Addicted Meowth. Also trying to finish off a team here. They do get one member. That is NG Skoden that are struggling. Ren left alone. Will not survive, and NG Skoden will be eliminated. Order, again, able to get their teammates back up, but they need to get out of this situation ASAP.
Yeah, Clean, very close by, and they knew the fight was coming, but they're in between two teams right now as well. Shots going on to Order, shots going on to Zeppa. Katana goes down there. That was only the one player left. That is another match point team eliminated. Does that leave us with only 3 or 2 at this point? That leaves us with only 2.
Solus. Yeah,
Solus
wow.
and Meow. So no, Addicted. Addicted is a solo and still alive. They technically are a match point team. Low odds at this point in time, but they do still exist. Wouldn't that be a story?
I cannot even imagine how that would work. Like, I cannot imagine how it. As Order are trying to go for a respawn here, that Meowth may want to try and stop, but the Gibby bubble is going to keep that push from happening.
They're gonna pick up the high ground here, though, which is a fantastic rotate to get the odds in their favor. Gibby bubble
getting shot.
gets you so far, but exactly that. There are shots coming down from across the way. That's probably Zeppa, Clean, Solus. There's all kinds of teams that have angles on that location. Have to be incredibly careful. Solus actually putting themselves in a strange little location on the staircase, going to be able to hold a decent amount of height. They are still fighting Order.
That's Addicted.
Addicted has been spotted. They got a res
They got
off,
it off.
but they got one. They got one.
Oh no. Pexi, it's time to put up a clip. Order, you gotta do the same. They're popping that wall, but it is not enough. Sheila does not care if you cannot see. You just fire and hope you feel it out.
That wall's penetrable. That's all Sheila cares about. Addicted, now gone as well. We have Solus, Meowth as our last 2 match point teams out of 7.
Oh my goodness. Clean. Honestly, they've been having a great game so far. And if they can close this, it's another game we're gonna have to go through. Lust finally have found themselves into a top 5 situation. Zeppa get eliminated, and Lust are trying to set up for an end game situation.
Lust is on the outskirts, but they do have the building. Solus on the outskirts, but do have the high ground. Meowth and Clean are relatively close to where the next zone is going to be pulling, but there's not a lot of cover when you're up there. Yeah, you're up at the top, but there is a tree to play behind. And right now, they are just kind of looking at one another around it. So very interested to see how they go. One member of Solus is actually pushed up very close and is kind of starting to feel out what's going on. They're gone onto Meowth.
They are going on. This is 2 of our match point teams. Whoever takes this out now is the last remaining member here. Solus are not actually doing too hot in this. They're going to go for the revive with the Newcastle from Kree, and they may be able to do it here. They're still alive for now, but Solus are on inches of HP. They can't make it happen. Meowth are down to a single member, and in comes the third party. They may have just screwed themselves.
Solus, no way they knew who they were engaging upon. There's no way that they didn't feel comfortable or confident in being able to win that fight. Lust has the opportunity to guarantee one more game here. I don't think there's any possibility. Meowth may have gotten one res off. Never mind. Gone right there. One member of Meowth left. There is still a storybook ending here for them if they can manage it, as Lust and Clean are engaging on one another.
Looking here. Granted, a reminder, Meowth are still up. Meowth have not been fully finished here. And I think they're respawning right now. They have gotten... There's no way. There's no way they're able to pull this one out. They have no attachments, just the guns on their back. Lust get eliminated and Meowth are going for the kill. They might be able to do it, and they somehow, some way go home as champions.
Oh, a Persian victory.
What the hell happened?
They got left alone. They were given what I very confidently call the Falcons reset, where they are down to one member, 1 HP, and the entire lobby forgets they exist.
Just insane that they got away with that. Not just that, but also, I don't know if the other people were needed. There was the possibility. It was not like, oh, we need all 3 people. It's gotta be a 3v3. It was just closing out on the leftovers after those teams fought it out.
Meowth managed to close it out. They were at 63 points when that game started. They finish at 83 with a total of 37 kills. Wow. Compared to the 117 by 70 of Solus. But this is why match point matters. If you can't close out that one game, it doesn't belong to you. The series is not yours. Solus on match point for 5 games could not manage to wrap it up in a tidy little bow for themselves. They get the alliance treatment in the end. Meowth get to take everything home. Iza, Kiwi, Samurai, Sky, be proud of yourselves, because that was one hell of a comeback.
Incredible way to end it all out, and congratulations to Meowth for their victory today. Beautifully done. And honestly, incredible series. It started off looking like Solus was just going to go wild with it, and then it just turned into craziness all over the place as we went from game to game, thinking like, this has got to be the last one. Surely this has got to be the last one. And it just kept going.
You have to get down to 8th place on the kill leaderboard to find Meowth. Solus, Clean, Solus, Katana, Capybaras, then Meowth in terms of players. The fact that, again, Solus, 3 of the top 4 spots belong to them. One of their players almost had as many kills as the entire team of Meowth. Incredible day by them. It is so unfortunate that they aren't able to close it out. And there's nothing I can attribute to it. They can play all of the legends. They have all of the skill. It was just the way the games went. Unfortunately, in that last fight, again, there's no way that they didn't feel comfortable and confident taking that fight, no matter who it was that was left alive at that point in time. It did not go their way in that fight against Meowth. Meowth took the victory in that fight, took the victory in that game. Look at the damage as well. We have your favorite person sitting at 17,000 damage across 8 games.
That's crazy. I don't know if like I can't imagine doing that much damage in a game. How much damage is I gotta do the math.
2,128 damage per game. Average.
What? What? That's crazy. That's like a high point game for me. I can't
Like,
I can't
that
like
is-
if I get that, I'm really happy.
That is a 2K badge every game.
That's
And they came
crazy.
10th in one game.
Oh my god. Wow.
Nikki, you're insane. You
Crazy.
are the goated Chungus Pro.
Oh my god. But not victors today, because Meowth able to walk home with it again. Congratulations to them. Oshi, I want to thank you for being here with me today. I also want to thank you, Saki, for running
You.
all the back end stuff. Emerald, for
Tessa, you
giving
weren't
us a
supposed
map
to
stream.
be here.
Thank
Okay.
you. And I show up because I'm
Exactly. Thank
here.
you.
I got
Thank
the passion.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you for being here. I scheduled this in July because I can't manage to align with this schedule. That's how far out I had to book myself for that. You showed up 5 minutes beforehand because someone else couldn't make it. So thank you, because you are the reason that this cast went and the reason that it was so enjoyable.
Well, I'm very happy to provide. And I want to thank everybody else who has been watching today for coming out, supporting the team, supporting the scene. Make sure you guys keep your eyes open for more tournaments, especially like Vulcan that is going on right now. You do not want to miss that from Celeste tournaments here. Hope you guys all have a wonderful night.
Bye.
TSM on the precipice. Surely they're going to take the win, unless it's a massive moment from this last player. I don't even know who they are. It's crazy, but TSM minds their own business and come through such a tight end game as victorious.
Wait, moving forward.
Jumping up.
One.
To the left, to the left.
One. I got one. I'm swinging.
Nice. I'm behind you.
Oh
Nice.
my god. They're weak. So weak.
got one down.
Clean up. No.
Oh, we
They're resing her.
I'm gonna go down there if you can.
We have to push this. I'm pushing this.
One
One left, one left, one left.
Dead. Nice, you're good.
No, he's on off. You win it, baby.
Please,
I'm dead.
please, come on.
You win it.
Let's go!
So much better.
You're so much better. Holy
Not one. We're good. One fight.
Apple two. Dead. Oh my god, let me go.
Watch it. Yeah, watch him turret.
Bring in the scratch. Get aggressive.
100 on cat.
Bring one.
I killed one. One more. Last one. That's the last one. Nice.
Getting us off.
Swing out. I killed one.
Of all of that, and Death's last one up. Again, RE45 in hand. This weapon can work miracles, but can it pull it off? Yes! The Nier go down as Desu gets the shield swap, and Flawless are still in this.
Almost flash. I don't have any more light ammo. Got her. Go one. Let's go. Go, baby. Right here.
Come on.
Right here. Got push. Oh my god, let's go.
Hello?
Top cracked one. Dead. Lost. Dead. GG's. Oh my god, how are you so good? How?
Wait, you what?
How are you so